Eugene. Eugene. Good day, Governor. All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures. For in them you think you have eternal life, and there they will testify of me. You will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you, the Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. If you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Psalms 145. Oh, no, not a murder update. Not a murder update. Somebody got killed on the west side. I had read a new article he put in there. Of course, you know, academics, so sweet booty behind. Shalom, man. But the thing is, what they don't even know is that the people who are being referenced in them songs been murdered for years. Like, those aren't recent homicides. Like, yeah, them niggas beefing, but it's not, ain't nobody getting clipped recently. It's been a couple years since the last time one of the boys got clipped. But them niggas is disrespectful. Yeah, boy, they got a nice, clean spot in hell waiting for them.
Yeah, I can bang it out. My flame.
You can shoot it out with your flame. Now that I seen in the comments, they talking about, see, they inspired by Chirac. And I'm like, yeah, that's just because y'all not from here. These niggas been on that. It's just that they rapping about it. And even before they got famous with the rapping, they were doing it. You know what I'm saying? And they maybe Chicago may have had an influence, but them niggas rude and disrespectful. That's just Florida for you. Just rude and disrespectful. You know what I'm talking about? And you come to Jacksonville thinking, this ain't no Chicago, and you're going back to Chicago on the box. You know what I'm talking about? And you're gonna be like this here. Some nigga in the comments said something about, see, in Chicago, they hit innocent children. No, this dude said, I live in Jacksonville. You niggas hit innocent children. We killing a nigga we want dead. I said, oh my. I said, boy, he boy wild with it. He ain't lying though, because you don't hear too many straight bullets hitting no children around here.
What they want.
And then they going home to talk about it. Psalm 145. You know what I'm saying? He said, I will extol you, my Elohim, O King. I will bless your name forever and ever. Every day will I bless you, and I will praise your name forever and ever. Great is Yahuwah, greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. When we look at unsearchable, of course, you know, it is not unsearchable. It is kakur, which y'all know is something that you would investigate when you would search out. We started with it, but we're going to read it again. John 5:39. Because he said, right, so remember what it's stating. It's not saying that it's unsearchable. It is saying his greatness is to be searched out. His greatness is to be examined. John 5:39 tells you to do what? Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. The first thing that this man is telling us, one of the things that we're going to have to do is, if you want to know how great he is and how great he is to be praised, that you would need to examine the book. That is what is going to need to be done. We're going to go over here to Acts chapter 18. We're going to pick this up in Acts chapter 18. Pick this up at about verse 24. Talk about good old Apollos. Y'all remember good old Apollos, don't you? Had to go get the screen fixed. Fooling with Brandon cracked the screen. Then the LCD went to tripping.
Brand new now.
Brand new. Jamaican lady always do the right for the low price. I jump over there across the street from Old Circuit City on Atlantic. And that August Park over there. Oh yeah, that's the now. Shoot, I was in the gym. Before I even left the gym, they had done call Lil Muffin and say that was done. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, less than an hour. She told me that when I left. She said, "I'll be ready in less than an hour, baby." TVs, all electronics. Oh yeah, she do all that. Yeah, she do what TVs now. Off Atlantic. Across the street. You know what that house park is with them green buildings is? Huh? I think so. Like Suite 323. Basically, if you was to go down the road where the library is on Monument, it's the side road you can slide up in the way you ain't got to go on Atlantic and turn off in there. Like where the old scene is, it's an old Jiffy Lube type spot right there where the road is that you can slide back up in there and get up. I can see that there though. Yeah, I've been fooling with that jack. Every time I screen break and I don't feel like sending it off for the insurance, I go see her. 1824 acts. And a certain Yahudim named Apollos, born at Alexandria, an eloquent man, mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesians. So this is a generic question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What does it mean to be mighty in the scriptures? Now, of course, let's look at our understanding. We'll get the word in Greek. Skills, right? I know I seen the italics, that hand thing there. The mighty's there, but the hand thing there. Well, let me get them snacks, cuz. You get them snacks, cuz. Get them snacks, cuz. When you got mighty, it says here that it's being, be, come, and have. That's own. But it's two words there, so let's see what that is. Important, Kira? I can dig it. When this one here, the Greek word is denotos. That is someone who is able, powerful, mighty, strong, also excelling in something. So he's someone, like you say, being an important or a skilled scribe. He excels in this endeavor. So if he excels in this endeavor, that means he knows what he's talking about. This man was instructed in the way of the Lord, being fervent in the Ruach. He spake and taught diligently of the things of the Lord, knowing only the immersion of John. He began to speak boldly in the synagogue, whom when Aquila and Priscilla had heard, they took him unto him and expounded unto him the way of Elohim more perfectly. And when he was disposed to pass in the HA, the brethren wrote, exhorting the disciples to receive him, who when he was come helped them much who believed through grace. So if they believed through grace, how did they believe through? When you see grace, what should you think of? No. Mercy. You should think of mercy. They believed in the mercy of Elohim. That's the purpose of rhyme and reason of preaching the gospel. You're preaching the mercy of Elohim because you need to be reconciled. See, that's the aspect that get lost by many, that grace is mercy. That's why he say, do we sin that grace or mercy abounds? Elohim says no. See, a lot of people feel like I can be any kind of way. It's almost an aspect what we talking about, just using it in a general sense, what we talking about women in this society being overweight. They feel like that's how people feel about Yahuwah. What do they tell you that the most church people say? Come as you are. Most women have adopted what? Mary J. Blige's song, take me as I am, or don't take me at all. And that's how people approach Elohim. You're going to take me like this, or you're not going to take me at all. And he's telling you, I'm not going to take you. And then you're shocked when he says that, I'm not going to take you. See, that's what gets people messed up, is you thinking that he's going to take it. We've already talked about this because that's what happened with Cain. He brought him that, and he thought he was going to take it, and he said, I don't want it. And we're unaccustomed because we believe we've allowed ourselves to be inflated with such a high sense of self-importance that somebody would deem what you offering is actually mediocre or even below mediocre or outright useless. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're not accustomed to that. Just like I mentioned before, like you ain't accustomed to a man telling you that's not acceptable. You know why you ain't accustomed to it? Because niggas be homeless. Niggas be wanting sex. And they, more importantly, they have a scarcity mindset. They feel like if she leaves, I'm not going to get another. So I'll deal with what I don't like because I'm not going to get another. You know what I'm saying? That's how people think. That's how most lower level men think. Men who have higher levels of confidence, who have actually things that manifest and show can say, I will not accept that. And I won't have to. If I say I want this, this, and this, then that's exactly what I'm going to get. See, that's what Yahuwah telling you. Yahuwah can do that. I want this, 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 and this. And you're going to give me that. Or you're not going to be with me. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard because like I say you deal in the real world. Men are supposed to be in a position of superiority. Because I just had this conversation with somebody I know about what they need to do to get a man. And I'm telling them, if you were overweight when he met you, it's not his job to help you lose weight after he meets you because he likes you. You should have already been fit before he met you. Because if you flip it, I think I mentioned this last night, if you flip it and that nigga's broke, is it your job to help build him up to get some money? No, you'll say, I would never. But you want him to do that for you. See, it's not Yahuwah's job to do that for you. You have to do that for yourself. Because he says you got to put your hand to the plow and you got to take up your stake daily and follow him. And then he can come do something with you. But you're going to actually have to put in the work for him to do so. You just standing there like, oh, so you're not going to love me? He said, I already did that, baby, when I let them torture me. Now, what you going to do for me? See, that's a hard aspect because most people are not used to somebody saying, so what you going to do for me? Because you thinking that that's somebody scamming you because they expect something in return for what they have to give you. There are only a few avenues in life that where somebody does something, as it says in Luke 17, shalom, man, and there are unprofitable servants just doing what it is their duty to do. Very few people on the earth that's going to be able to sit back and say that they do something, they're not doing something, expecting something in return. But for the most part, everything in life is a give and exchange. If you want somebody to give to you, what are you giving in exchange for what they have to give? See, again, this is the reference of, and this is using this in a simple aspect, text-wise, that I can think of what this is mentioned. Well, also, what does the law say? Don't muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn. Because he says, is it not a small thing that if I sow to you spiritual things, I reap your... He was trying to get an example of, I'm giving you something. It shouldn't be an issue for you to give something in exchange. See, most people look at it is, you should give, and I don't give you nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not right. You know what I'm saying? That's just not right. And of course, we live in a society now where you're told that the woman is giving so much and the man is giving so little. So now the woman thinks that the man is supposed to expend. This is how people look at Yahuwah. So I'm using an example. People feel like Yahuwah don't give enough. But you giving everything to him. He wants me to stop doing this, stop doing that, and I got to do this and do that. I'm giving him everything. He ain't giving me nothing. But yeah, he giving you life. How can you quantify that? And I ain't even talking about eternal life. I'm just talking about the breath of life that fills your lungs. He giving you life. That in and of itself, you can never give him anything of equal value. See, a man providing and protecting for you, you can never give him anything of equal value. You can never give him anything that's going to be equal to that. And Yahuwah is providing you with life. You can never give him anything that equals to that. You know what I'm saying? This is why he can look at you in the face and tell you, I don't want that. That's why Cain was wrong. Because he told him, I don't want that. What am I going to do with that? Verse 28, though. He say, for he mightily convinced the Yahudim, and that publicly showing by the scriptures that Yahushua was Mashiach. So why is this important by publicly showing that Yahushua was the anointed one? Because what would the anointed one be?
What would it be?
What does his office entail? Both of those are acceptable. Let's take a look. Daniel chapter 7. From Daniel 7, I guess Daniel 9. Daniel 7 and 13. See, the reason why I mention these things and why it's important, because we have to look at the understanding of, again, the man is supposed to be what? In Yahuwah's steed on the earth. So, I have to keep referencing that because some people you can make it 7 and 9, actually. are thinking that this got to deal with women, and it's got to deal with the way that people feel about the masculine principle is how they feel about Elohim in heaven. Because the man is a physical representation of him. More specifically, a man who looks like you. He is a physical representation of Elohim. So the level of reverence, because what did it tell for a woman to do who was godly? To reverence her husband. What is reverence? To have respect. Like I've listened to some women online say that to sit back and say to be feminine. These women believe that that's weak and you're lesser by being feminine. And just like it is, you hear women go to the most extreme extremes. I just listened to a woman say, I can never give up my independence because I don't want a man to leave me with nothing. And he was like, maybe 80% of divorces are initiated by women. So the myth that men are just leaving women out high and dry is a lie. Because at the end of the day, how many times have you actually know someone who a man got up and left her high and dry with nothing? Most of the time, those women leave, and then the benefit that she thought she was going to get from this man from leaving, she didn't get. And then she ended up being high and dry because she was a jackass. Because you were in an advantageous situation and you chose to walk away from. Does that not sound familiar? Because Yasharal walked away from their husband when you were in an advantageous situation and you ended up without nothing. Because he did not walk away from you, you walked away from him and say, I want to go over here. I want to go over there. I didn't watch the clip where they were talking about they were having a conversation on this panel where they were saying that if you get married young, do you get curious? I said, I don't think men get curious if they get married young. Because I don't think they just around here talking about what would it be like to be a whole nother woman to take care of and die for. You know what I'm saying? Only women get curious because you getting curious wondering, can I get a better man? You know what I'm saying? Because if a man get curious, he gonna get curious here. Boy, I break that whole bike. Boy, let me see if I can knock this whole down real quick and go on back onto the house. He ain't sitting around daydreaming about what it would be like to be in a whole nother family with another woman. Because that's a responsibility. See, there's no responsibility for the woman to go from one man to the next. There's no response. See, I'm also leaving son because there was no responsibility if you go to Dagon, to Sukkot, there was no responsibility on your head. You had a responsibility if you were going to be with Yahuwah. There was no responsibility over here. You know what I'm saying? You go over here to Ashtaroth, Tammuz. You know what I'm saying? Hermes, Trismegistus. You can do whatever you want. There's no responsibility for you. You can move around. If a man moves around, his responsibility does not disappear because he gets a different woman. He still got to take care of her. He still got to protect her. He still got to lead her. He still got to teach her. He still got to correct her. So it's the aspect of people looking at men through the eyes of a woman because you don't have any responsibility when you did. I'm not daydreaming about marrying another woman to take care of her. If I were going to leave my wife, I ain't getting another. For what? I could just sling penis and take care of myself. Straight up. There's young men in here, they'll tell you think I'm going to leave my wife to go get another one? I could have stayed with the one I had. I'm going to get up and get rid of my wife to get another woman to take care of. Who could possibly end up in a divorce and she raped me just like the one I just left in. Come on, man. That makes a lot of sense. That makes as much sense as tits on a boat. Because at the end of the day, Yahuwah could have made a covenant with another woman, but guess what that would have been? Another responsibility to another woman. Why is he going to do that? He said, I already got one. She's stupid, but she mine. Let me put a plan together, get this silly whole body. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at it in that, and I'm putting it in that aspect because when you hear it, you see how asinine it sounds, how dumb it sounds. And it's not that women are dumb. It's not that men are dumb. It's that carnal-minded thinking is dumb. Because carnal-minded thinking is leading you to think according to your pleasures. But your pleasures will end up doing you in every time. That's why you say, I'll give them over to their lust, see what their end going to be. You get given over to your lust, you find out that your lusts were fleeting and that what you had, it actually says that in the book of Hosea. Y'all know that, right? He said that you left for bail, and they said, you know, it was better for me with my first husband. I think I'll go back now. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Oh, you looking like you don't know what I'm talking about. Hold on, what that other one at? Michael, you know what I'm talking about? You don't know. What I'm talking about? Oh, okay. Because Michael don't never know. Why you don't know, Michael?
I haven't been instructed in the way of life.
That's what I wanted to see, because I ain't heard it yet. Come over here to Jose chapter 2, because I know you don't know. It no matter what, no matter, and y'all done figured it out. No matter what we say about a woman, it's always gonna come back to Yasharal. That's just a stupid group of people. Not even stupid, ungrateful, selfish, proud, ignorant, jackasses of the highest order. Hosea 2:1. Hosea 2:1. Plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked and set her as the day she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with dirt. Now he said, not if I strip you naked and leave you in the wilderness until like I find you. And remember, you was out there in the wilderness asking for water, and he said, let me go ahead and don't give you no living water out of this rock that I told Moses to speak to that he struck, and let you die thirsty. Rotten bastard. He said, I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother played the harlot, she that conceived them have done shamefully. She said, I will go after my lovers. They give me my bread, my water, my wool, my flax, my oil, and drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up your way with thorns, and make a wall that she shall not find her paths. She shall not follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. She shall seek them, and shall not find them. Then she shall say, I will go and return to my first husband. Then it was better for me than now. You stinking whore. See, you went after these other people because you thought about the material items you could get, but you could never get them to love you. See, that's the example of women who always talk about they can get a man with some money. He'll break your back. He'll give you some trinkets. He'll never love you, though. You know what I'm saying? That dude that you had that was a regular guy, he loved you. But this dude here, I seen the same clip this morning. That chick said that, John, she was like, I can get men. You know, I date men who make a lot of money. Yeah, but they don't want you, though. And we know how women think. See, a man ain't going to be like, if he smashed Holly Berry in her prime, he going to be like, oh, I can all get dimes. Nigga going to tell his homeboy about the story today, I smashed Holly Berry. But he know if at the point he is in his life, he can get 5s and 6s, he just know what it is. He had a good day. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. Caught her at the right place at the right time, and shoot. Now I'm in her spine. That's what it was. Now he can have another day, and he can get another highly attractive woman, you know, substituting a celebrity you might think is attractive, because, you know, we can't pinpoint. I seen her the subway, boy, she was that. We don't know what you're talking about. Because some of these women who they think attractive, I really don't. Yeah, because they say Rihanna's attractive. That whole look like a mutant in the face. Straight up, baby got a strong face and a dashing forehead. That nigga definitely look like Max Headroom. That's just me. Shoot, I'm a man. I ain't supposed to be pretty. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? I ain't supposed to be around here talking about, look at me, nigga, I'm beautiful. Shoot. You can say what you want to say. Shoot, compared to a woman, absolutely. Every nigga better be because you walk around here talking about you pretty as a woman, nigga. You might have been born one. You know what I'm talking about? Like straight up and down, man. Baby, you know what I'm saying? Baby kind of top of the face. Sometimes, man, niggas don't be feeling about them chicks, bro, because they famous. Cause when I heard Kevin Samuels say Rihanna at 10, I said, boy, you been smoking, ain't you? That girl not gorgeous. I don't know what he like, but I know this here. Baby ain't gorgeous. Not by a long shot. But again, you ain't gonna sit back and think you qualify for the top tier chicks because you smashed one. Shoot, you could have walked up to her and say, baby, I got 300. She like, shoot, I need to pay my bills today. Let me get them 300. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. But when you go to talk about a woman, if a woman get a top tier dude make a lot of money, she feel like that's That's her ceiling right there. I can only mess with dudes who get money because a nigga with some money offer me some penis. No, baby, you qualify for the plumber. Matter of fact, some people you qualify for the nigga that say, "May I take your order, please? Would you like to supersize that at the drive-through?" Come on, man. She showed me to. I had nightmares for half a day. This nigga showed me a photograph of Lizzo and the estimate. I didn't want to eat no more. I ain't been able to eat in 3 days. 3 days. It was the most wretched, disgusting, horrible thing I ever seen in my life. You know what I'm talking about? And she had a nerve to try to holler at Captain America and got mad because, buddy, he said, we all sunk the drunken DM a time or two. Buddy was like, this, how dare this fat? Yeah, she tried to holler at the white dude that played Captain America and got mad because he didn't want her. Newsflash, white men don't like fat girls. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what every time they talk to them women, they talk about, men like them big. No, niggas who can't get women like them big. You know what I'm talking about? Because if you could get you a woman, if you had the opportunity at a 275-pound woman and a 115-pound woman, what you think that man gonna pick? He ain't gonna pick that 300-pound middle linebacker. You know what I'm talking about? No, that's not gonna work. That's the delusion. That delusion still exists right now to this day. Because you walk around here thinking, hey man, we this and we that, and you who are gonna take it? That man said, I don't want that. Oh yeah, man, they had a whole spread on her Essence magazine, bro. It was distasteful. Talking about some body positivity. Ain't nothing positive about that body. I'm positive that body nasty. That's what I'm positive about. Shoot. Boy, she couldn't pay a nigga to get them draws, boy. Shoot, them niggas on drugs. Daniel 79, that's what they on. But she can offer $250,000 right now. You know what I'm saying? I respect my penis. I would not subject him to this type of oppression. You know what I'm talking about? That nigga ain't gonna be able to breathe once you get in there. That ain't gonna be no good loving.
Right? Toxic.
Daniel 79, man. He said, I beheld till the thrones were cast down. The Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels like burning fire. For real, though, that is penis oppressed Daniel 79. Oh, shoot. Well, Lizzo looked like she every bit of 315 pounds. Her rolls got rolls. She want to subject you to that type of abuse. Your penis looking at you like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. We better off with the cocoa butter. Talking about we better off. And then she gonna send the picture again. See, she ain't right. Look at this crap. Look at that. That's not right. That is not right. You see this? That's not right.
Put out a biscuit.
She do look like a busted biscuit can. That ain't right.
You gotta throw in.
Somebody, I wanted to give y'all an unedited selfie. Come on, man. A woman that you don't even know. There's no body there. It's just flesh. There's nothing there. There's no shape.
There's no bone.
It's nothing. Bruh, her legs are different color than her upper body.
I thought she had those pants.
No, nigga, that's her leg.
Oh, wow.
I told you, a leg with no bones.
But some big girls, they got a shape. You could tell when she was younger, she probably was fine before she put on the weight. You ain't cute, you ain't nothing. You just there. You know what I'm talking about? She just there. You like, come on, bro. And then she had the nerve to ground here and twerk on the basketball court. So the whole court just smelled like, ain't enough words in the English language to describe that there. Just, ooh, no. It ain't right. Daniel 79, it ain't right. All right, it ain't right. Tell him again, boy. That ain't right. Right. Hold on a second. All right, so I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, the head of his head like pure wool, his throne like the fiery flame, and his wheels as the burning fire. What did we just read not too long ago about wheels being like burning fire? In Ezekiel. Now I want you to look at this word for throne. It's korsah. It's the Aramaic word for throne, royal chair. Kaf, Rosh, Samak, and Aleph. Throne is the word. Word in Aramaic is korsah. Kaf, Rosh, Samak, and Aleph. See, remember something, right? Because we finna get to something that in Psalms 145. Of course, y'all can't see the title, but it's contained there. I put him fell in the toilet. Man, you got poo on your arm, son? Man, ain't no playing in the sink. Well, hey, come here. Throw that in the trash.
Hey, lay down.
Ow!
Oh, you should have called
Lay
it.
down, lay down.
Yeah, you got it. Kaf, Rosh, Samak, and Aleph. Remember, right, what he told you, right? He told you something in the book of Revelation about kings. Do you know what he told you in the book of Revelation about kings? Michael? I just asked Michael because I know she don't be knowing. She's like, why are you picking on me? I don't know this answer to this stuff. Who knows what he said in the book of Revelation about kings? That's what you think? Well, why you thinking on these characters? Come over here to Revelation 5. Come here, little polo boy. Little muffin man. I'll be sure go back and bath in that bathroom. Y'all got that phone in your hand. Y'all ain't never got to go to the bathroom. Revelation chapter 5. Pick it up at verse 6. And I beheld, lo, in the midst of the throne and of the four beasts, in the midst of the elders stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 ruachs of Elohim, sent forth into all the earth. He came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps, golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the faithful ones. And they sung a new song, saying, you are worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for you were slain and have redeemed us to Elohim by your blood out of every kindred, tongue, people, and nation, and made us unto Elohim kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. So by the blood of Mashiach, he has made you what? Kings and priests. And you will reign, shalom, Brother Reynolds, on the earth. Come back over here to Daniel 7:9, right? Remember what it was for throne. What you got? You got Kaf. I'm sorry. Yes, I was correct. Kaf, Rosh, Samak, and Aleph. The first thing that you're going to see with this here, right, is you see the strength of Yahusha when he grabbed hold of being subdued. That is how he is able to sit on this throne. That's how he's able to sit in the chair. That's why I mentioned why is it important about him being the anointed one. Because the anointed one is the one who is going to sit on the throne. And if he's sitting on the throne, that means he's ruling over a kingdom. If he's ruling over a kingdom, who recalls what the Hebrew word for kingdom is? Malkuth, which means what? Dominion, reign. So if we're talking about dominion and reign, let's go back and refresh memories. Micah chapter 4. You can still hold Daniel 7 and Daniel 9. See that? I want to say Daniel 4:9, what I want. Looking for. did. Micah chapter 4. Verse 6. It said, in that day, saith Yahuwah, will I assemble her that halt. I will gather her that is driven out, her that I have afflicted, and I will make her halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation. Yahuwah shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever. And you, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto you shall it come, even the first dominion, the kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. Now we just want you to pause and think about this. What does that mean when he say tower of the flock? People. And he tells you the stronghold, you daughter of Zion, will come unto you, even the first dominion. We just want to talk about dominion here. It's Mem Shala. That's rule, dominion, domain. You got two memes, a Shan, a Lamad, and a Hay. Two memes, a Shan, a Lamad, and a Hay. Now remember, we looked at that royal chair, that Corsar in Daniel. In order for him to get that, he had to grab hold to being subdued, or his strength, or the faith that Yahushua possessed caused him to grab hold to death. That's the same thing that we have to do. We got to do the same thing. Grab hold to death. And you have to have the faith in order to do so. Most don't have it. Now we're looking at dominion. You got double means, Sean, Lamar, and Hay. I see you say that. To give everybody else a moment. We'll take each character and go through them. What was the word again? Dominion. And it's means Shala in Hebrew. But it was the word for dominion. I know they updated that done. They got that done crazy. They just did it so often. They don't change it like you have to double click on see words before it was click on in the chapter in the verse. Then they put it where you have to click in the middle. I don't know how to. That's how it was when I first got it. Nah, they just got that all crazy. We take that behold. What's one of the things for that? Hey, you got behold, you got look, man with raised arms, I think converging in the soul. So we'll take this one here and we'll take man with raised arms and let that be representative of Yahushua. Then we'll take that Lamar and we're not whenever we're gonna have to take it some chastisement. You know what I'm saying? Or that rod. And we have to sit back and see how the chastisement consumed Yahushua. And at the point of him shedding blood for him to be resurrected by the Ruach of his Father, this is how he was able to take dominion. Because remember, to tell you to go back to the what? The first dominion. It says that the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, it will come even the first dominion. Y'all know what the first dominion is, right? The Garden of Eden. And of course, we know that it would mention that because New Jerusalem will be as the Garden of Eden. Return back to Daniel chapter 7. Seven and 10. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set and the books were opened. Well, you know who's the only one who can judge. Now, again, we have to look at something because we're talking about something specific. So now we need to go to Zechariah again. And this is for people who may not know or don't remember. Zechariah chapter 4. If I can actually get rid of it. I'm sorry, it's Zechariah chapter 6. I'm sorry. 6 and 9. Excuse me. Zechariah 6 and 9. And the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, take of them of the captivity, even of Eldai, Tobiah, Jediah, which are come from Babylon, and come you the same day, and go into the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah. Then take silver and gold, and make crowns, and set them upon the head of Yahushua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest. Pause. Psalm 21. Psalm 21. We'll knock Psalm 21 off our I need to really write down what Psalms are gone after a while. Psalms 21. To the king shall joy in your strength, O Yahuwah, and in your salvation, how greatly shall he rejoice. This is dealing with, because we're going to make this quick before we deal with this song. It says the king joys in his strength. So let's take a look at strength and joy. Of course, joy is samak, which y'all know is a rejoice, and to be glad. Strength should be that's what I saw. Oz, which of course is Ayin and Zayin. He knows that he will be sacrificed, or that's dealing with the faith. And you can see that what Yahushua is doing is that he joyed in his father's strength. He said, you have given him his heart's desires and have not withholden the request of his lips. So that's what we'll pause. What were the requests of this man's lips? Because it says that he has given him his heart's desire. What was the heart's desire of Yahushua? Of course, you know, desire is tahava, and that is a longing of one's heart. An object of desire, the thing desired.
Pray for in John 17.
You can look at what he prayed for in John 17. You can look at the things that he said in numerous different places. One of the first things that his heart's desire was to be resurrected from the dead, and he gave him that. But what did he pray for in John 17? He prayed for the people to be set apart by the Amad. He prayed that you may be one in the Father as he is. Indeed, indeed. He also prayed what? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. You know what I'm talking about? And he said, it is finished, which is what his desire was, because it was finished. That means he rested on the seventh day, and he would begin working on what? On the first day, because that's what he desired. To give the esteem that he had before the world was. These are the things of his heart. Because all this is dealing with his kingdom. So I want you to understand that, because that's what you're going to see in Psalm 145 momentarily. He says, verse 3, for you prevent him with the blessings of goodness. You set a crown of pure gold on his head. Let's look at prevent. Prevent. That is kadam. That is to meet, to confront, to lead beforehand, or also to anticipate. So you anticipated giving him blessings of goodness. That's what the text says. It was an anticipation from his father to give him the blessings of Tov, or good blessings or prosperity. Also a treaty of peace. So think about that. What is he anticipating giving his son? He said, do I say that I blaspheme because I said I'm the son of Elohim, because the Father has sanctified me for this purpose? So he had already anticipated that he was going to bless the son. That's why the son could pray, Abba, let me get back what I had with you before the world was, or give me the esteem that I had before the foundation of the world, because this is the anticipation. This is why he can say it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, because he has already anticipated blessing certain individuals with that. Them putting the crown of gold on his head is symbolic in the mocking by putting the crown of thorns on his head. That's why you see that we not just read in that Daniel that he had a crown on his head. Can you not read in what you call it? Dang, what I do. This is escaping my brain. Well, of course, there's a passage where David had a crown put on his head. Of course, getting all the crowns of all the kingdoms. Also, you can read Revelation 11, where it tells you that all the kingdoms of this world have become Yahuwah's and his anointed one. Let's continue in Psalm 21. He asked life of you, and you gave it to him. even length of days forever and ever. That's what he asked for in John 17. When you're asking to make them perfect in one, you're asking for life. He gave it to him. So guess what? What did Yahushua tell you to do? Asking here in the Hebrew word is sha'al, Shan, Aleph, and Lamar. Compare yourself to the strength of the shepherd, and that is just to ask or to inquire. He told you, ask, and it what shall be given unto you. You know, most don't get because they don't ask. You know why most people don't ask? Because they don't believe. Let's continue. His esteem is great in your salvation. Honor and majesty have you laid upon him. For you made him most blessed forever. You made him exceedingly glad with your countenance. For the king trusts in Yahuwah, and through the mercy of the Most High he shall not be moved. He said, your hand shall find out all your enemies, your right hand shall find out those that hate you. Of course, we know he said he will send his Malakim throughout the earth, and they will root out all that commit iniquity, and they shall be cast in the furnace of fire, and there shall be wailing, weeping, and gnashing of teeth. He said, you shall make them as a fiery oven in the time of your anger. Yahuwah shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. So with the sword and with fire, the slain of Yahuwah shall be many. And of course, you know that he shall return with fire. And if that don't do it for him, they can go to the lake where the worm dies not, and the fire shall not be quenched. Their fruit shall he destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the sons of men. Goes back to what we were talking about Wednesday. He does not delight in wickedness, and neither will he dwell with it. For they admitted, for they admitted evil against you. They imagine a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. That takes you back to, let his blood be on our children's children. Therefore you shall make them turn their back, and when you shall make ready your arrows upon your strings against the face of them, be you exalted, O Yahuwah, in your own strength. So we will sing and praise your power. And guess what? You know what he say, being exalted in his own strength? I lay my life down and I pick it up of myself. Praise you, Lord. Let's go on back over here to what, Daniel? Chapter 7. No, Zechariah, excuse me. Zechariah chapter 6. My apologies. Just had to take that break for that crown. Why we do that? Because the high priest didn't get a crown. Kings only get crowns. Verse 12, Zechariah 6. To speak unto him, saying, thus speaketh Yahuwah of hosts, saying, behold, the man whose name is the branch, he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of Yahuwah. And we did talk about this last night, about I will walk in my house with an upright heart, with a perfect heart. We know he'll build the temple of Yahuwah because he said what? Destroy this temple, and I'll build it back in 3 days. Y'all know what to talk about the branch. The branch is mentioned in 2 places. Do y'all know the 2 places that the branch is mentioned? It is in Isaiah 11. It's in the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 23 to be exact. Let's take a look. Jeremiah chapter 23. Yeah, that's what you're looking at. 23, 23, 23, and 3. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and I will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them. They shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith Yahuwah. Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch. A king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. What are you going to do? Execute justice and judgment in the earth. First things first, let's look at this righteous branch. Matter of fact, I think they don't even got branch in here. There it is. Right over. So we have branch. And this one here is Samak. Of course, this is a sprout, a growth, a branch, or a shoot of Mashiach from David. You got Sod, Meme, and Kai. So we can ascertain immediately that this branch is separated by the way of life. Yahuwah is life, so this is why he is the branch. This is what the branch is going to do. Now he's going to execute justice and judgment. Y'all know what judgment is. That's mishpat, and justice is sadak. That's righteousness. So just because of this, now we got to come over here to Psalms 99. Come over here to Psalms 99, because we're going to have to come to Psalms 99. If we're going to do it, we're going to lay it all the way out. Psalm 99 ain't that long, so we'll knock Psalm 99 off our list as well. Psalms 99 and 1. Yahuwah reign, let the people tremble. He sit between the cherubims, let the earth be moved. Now we could go read Revelation chapter 6, and they say, here come the Lamb sitting upon the throne, and all those people moved, and what they tell you that the earth would do. The heavens will roll up like a scroll. Earth gonna shake up out of its course like a drunkard. And all we got to do is go back to the book of Ezekiel, and you seen them two cherubims on that throne that Ezekiel seen in his vision. Praise you. Let's continue. Who is great in Zion? He is high above all the people. Let them praise your great and terrible name, for it is Kadash. Listen to what it said. The king's strength also love judgment. You do establish equity. You execute judgment and righteousness in Jacob. See, now we're going to have to turn around. And we're going to have to look at the law. Now, I just want you to look at some of these words. Equity, mishar, which y'all know what that is. That's evenness, something that's level, that's right, or rightly divided. Everything going to be just. Everything is going to be just. You know, righteousness is Zadok. This is what he is going to execute. Of course, mishpat is judgment. This is known. But come over here to Deuteronomy 32. Because he said he's going to execute justice and judgment in Jacob. So we're going to need to look at it. That's Exodus 32. Deuteronomy 32, 36. Deuteronomy 32 and 36. Remember what it tell you in verse 4, Deuteronomy 32, that Yahuwah is the rock, his work is perfect, all his ways are judgment, and he's an Elohim of truth, and he's without iniquity, and just and right is he. Look what it tell you in Deuteronomy 32 and 36. For Yahuwah shall judge his people and repent himself for his servants when he sees their power is gone, and there is none shut up and left. He shall say, where are their gods, their rock in whom they trusted? Again, remember I told you how it's going down at the end. Look what he said. He's not coming until your power is gone. What did Daniel 12 tell you? That this would not end until the power of the Kadesh people had been scattered. Then he's going to say, where your gods at? See, we got everything mixed up. At the end of the day, the kingdom of Elohim is actually about the rule and dominion of Elohim himself. See, now you're living in a time men are ruling. See, we had a kingdom of Elohim, but you rejected him for Saul because you wanted to be ruled over by a man. See, we don't want to talk about that. See, that's the same token. That's why I use the avenue of how men and women behave. Black women and women specifically. Black women have rejected black men for the government. You said, I want to be ruled over by the United States government. I don't respect the men. But this is why you don't respect the men, because you perceive that the men are, see, women respect power. You're not in power, so they're not going to respect you. That's what our brothers say, when you brothers going to take over this here. Well, the only way you can take over something is to shed blood, and these niggas ain't ready for that. And it ain't even on the ready for you ready to die. You don't have the logistical means or thought process to come together and overthrow a government, because people are going to die. See, if we got the attitude like what we just seen with that little girl in Ohio, you're not ready for that. Somebody got to die. A lot of people could die, and niggas not ready to die. You think a nigga who making a good amount of money willing to forsake that money to take a bullet? for the betterment of kids who gonna come after him. And we know the will of Yahuwah is, so we know that's not what's gonna occur. But we're just talking about just period. And over to overthrow anything, somebody has to die. There has been no overthrow of any governmental system in the history of mankind where blood was not shed. That's not what happens. Whether the American Revolution was contrived or not, blood was shed. French Revolution, blood was shed. You understand that? When you took the land of Canaan, blood was shed. Blood has to be shed. Ain't nobody just going to be like, oh, here's my kingdom, take it. Because you even read in Revelation 11, they say, what? The nations are angry. They're going to fight. You got to shed blood to take somebody's territory over. That's how you know that those be weak men and women talking. Because any man who know anything, no blood going to be shed if you're going to conquer another group of people. You think they're just going to sit there and be like, shoot, here's my boo to take it. No, they're going to fight for this. You got to get it cold. That's what's going to happen. And don't nobody want to talk that. Nigga talk that talk, man. Nigga, you niggas just talking. Man, fuck all that walking around with picket signs and all that other stuff. Well, if you niggas ain't willing to know that it's 30 million niggas, that 25 million of them probably going to die, then just be quiet and keep living your life. At the end of the day, if it's 30 million black, then 25 million of them probably going to die. In the attempts to overthrow them people. And guess what? Them white folks been waiting on you to do it. You know why they've been waiting on you to do it? Not because they hate you so much. It's common sense. You cannot oppress a certain people for a long period of time and not have a thought process that one day they're going to snap and want blood. Why you think, all you got to do is read the text, what it said in Egypt. Well, we gotta do something for it unless they band together with our enemies and kill us. People know that. You can't rule over somebody and they don't snap. They say, I'm tired of being ruled over by you. And I'm willing to die about that. And niggas ain't willing to die about that. Niggas just be talking. You know how we know niggas just be talking? Regardless of how catchy a song is, well, we right here talking about a nigga talking about who he smoked. But you ain't gonna smoke Mr. Charlie. You gonna keep going to Mr. Charlie record label and keep getting Mr. Charlie checks. And you gonna dance when Mr. Charlie say dance, and you ain't gonna bust man gun. But you want to talk about what you did to a 16-year-old boy in some project, but you ain't gonna shoot Mr. Charlie. You ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm talking about? You gonna go out here and you gonna make your video and lay all that graveyard and do all this here, but you ain't gonna go to the National Cemetery and lay on that graveyard talking about you killed a couple soldiers. That's what you're not gonna do. So I don't even respect none of that. Yeah, that sounds funny. You know what I'm talking about? Just because this nigga's embarrassing himself, nigga, you're a caricature of a man. But we know in the grand scheme of things, you're not running up on Mr. Charlie. You know what I'm talking about? Now I know that what them boy got going on, that's a real dislike. That's not for record sales. Them niggas really don't like each other. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas really willing to do that to each other because that's real life that they got going on there. See, most people who see that stuff, they think that's some music. These boys was doing that before they were popular. They really, that's a genuine dislike. But nevertheless, they don't have that genuine dislike for Mr. Charlie. You know what I'm talking about? They don't have that for Mr. Charlie. Because they ain't going to be like who you smoke George Washington. They ain't going to do none of that. They ain't going to be like who I smoke Jimmy Carter. Barack Obama, they ain't going to do none of that. So that's what we men, every man with some sense know, if you're going to rule over other men, you're going to have to die. Somebody got to die. And we're not ready for that. But guess what? Yahuwah never said you had to do any of that. Not to take nobody over. He told you to sit tight. Just sit tight. You know what I'm talking about? I'll take care of that. Because he told you that in the law. He said, just be easy, man. Stand still. I'll fight for you. What you worried about it for? Come on, man. You took out Jericho just by walking around in a circle, blowing some ram's horns. That's all he told you to do. He didn't tell you, go get your fire and kill them niggas. He said, what I want you to do, I want you to get these ram's horns, and I want you to walk around this city 7 times. And when you blow them horns 7 times, the wall's going to fall, and you'll kill them all. Come on, man. When them people were beefing with Syria with Elisha, man, he made them people go blind, man. He said, go on and do that and kill all the people. Take all their stuff and leave them stank. When you were coming up out of Egypt, you ain't have to live in swamp. He said, don't worry about it. I drown them niggas in the water. So you have proof, positive evidence that you don't have to do anything. Come on, man. Gideon took out men with 300 people. And you know why he said it, too? He said, well, I had to. Because if all y'all would have came, you thought you would have did it on your own might and your own merit. I had to let you know I did it. You ain't taking out nobody. That man said, how could the enemy turn thousands to flight unless they rock sold them in their hand? If you know Yahuwah, then you know better. You ain't got to do it. Matter of fact, I'll read it to you. We right over here, man. We right over here by it. Well, come on, swing over here a little bit. Deuteronomy 32 and 28. Matter of fact, make it 26. Deuteronomy 32 and 26, because we right over here by it. I said I would scatter them into the corners. I would make the remembrance of them cease from among men. Were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, lest they should say our hand is high, and Yahuwah have not done all this. He said he had to let them know they did it, lest they would. That means they don't tell them what they would have done to you. And they did was pretty bad. He said, for they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, and they would consider their latter end. That's why I always use the example of modern day women, because they're void of understanding and have no counsel, and they don't consider their latter end. So when they get to a certain age, they looking up wondering why life didn't go according to how I thought it was going to go. And that's Yasharal. As a woman, meaning the men and their interactions with the nations. You void of counsel, you void of understanding, you don't consider your latter end, and you looking at these people who can't help you. That's why you upset. Why that police officer, this nigga said 4 shots was excessive. Nigga, how you sound? Nigga, that's the movies that nigga shoot one time and stop. Nigga, anybody who's trained with a weapon is trained to shoot until the target stops moving. You know what I'm talking about? They literally had to tell a nigga, you don't shoot niggas in the leg. Then they say, how many times you been to the gun range and they had arms and legs on the target, nigga? There's no reason that any grown man should have had to been told that when the gun range gives you center mass. They're trained to talk about why you can't shoot them in the leg. Y'all niggas don't watch too many Beverly Hills Cop movies, man. That ain't real life, bro. Ain't nobody shooting nobody in no leg and no arm. You know how deadly accurate you got to be to shoot a nigga in the leg and the arm? All this right here, though. I'm going to hit all this. That's easy to hit. He could have shot one time. Shot one time for what? Who'd say one bullet to stop him? Guess what? If it took 12, she's going down. But see, people don't understand that because, again, that's man decisions. Like I told you today, he has to make a split-second decision. You want him to come into it like a woman, nurturing and caring and compassionate and men of soldiers. I have to make a decision. Neutralize the threat or let her life die. You dying today. That's a decision. See, women can't make that decision. Women would have sat there and watched her get stabbed. You know what I'm saying? That's not to say the little girl would have stabbed her, but that's what a woman or a feminine man would have done. A man knows I got to neutralize the threat. Like that video we looking at, that Bobcat hit that white man wide. Well, that white man got on that Bobcat ASAP and pulled his pad immediately. First, he grabbed the Bobcat, threw that nigga across the yard, up this fire. I'm gonna shoot that little F. You know what I'm saying? And up this fire, and we're chasing that nigga. He hit my wife. Do you know what I'm saying? But he didn't even hesitate. His first thought was, neutralize the threat, and now kill the threat. Ain't no, I gotta be nice to the Bobcat because he's an animal. We gotta care for the animals. Absolutely not. That's not how men's minds work. No doubt, so I already know. That's how I feel you, my G. That's not how men's mind work. Men protect, and men are going to eliminate a threat. And we're gonna ask questions later. He was over there jumping that girl. Well, she jumped to the Lord today. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. But see, you got to understand something. That of soul is because the mentality of a man can no longer exist. You can't have the thought process of, you got to, why didn't he come de-escalate? It's not my job to de-escalate. You want to de-escalate, call us a hostage negotiator. You know what I'm saying? Why the other police ain't had a pistol out? Clearly, because they wasn't ready to protect. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not justifying this officer because I don't care about the officer not that little bit. But what I'm talking about is the mentality of a man. When a man is faced with a high stress situation where life and death hangs in the balance, he has to make a decision on the fly. See, it's easy for everybody who's sitting around watching a videotape to say what they would have done because you don't know what you would have done, nigga, because you ain't never been in that position. On top of that, you're not even trained to deal with that type of stress and to remain calm. So niggas just be talking. You know what I'm saying? That's why one thing I done always told y'all. I can tell you what I would do. I can give you the pros and the cons. But if I ain't the one in that situation and I ain't got to deal with the consequences, I can't tell you what to do. You know what I'm talking about? Especially if it's a situation that I ain't never experienced. I can't tell you what to think. I can't tell you how to feel. All I can do is try to understand. That's it. I can't tell you, especially if you ain't never experienced. Like most of y'all can't say, "Oh, what it's like." I can tell you what it's like to be in prison. You ain't never been there, so you wouldn't know. I can tell you because I've been there. You know what I'm talking about? But guess what? Same way I done been in the room with people who got millions, and they be like, "Why you ain't talking? Talk for what? You the one got all the information. So what am I talking for? I need to be listening because you have what I don't have. There's nothing for me to talk about. I need to be listening to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's where individuals get the game twisted at. You walk into situations with people who know more than you, and you think you know as much or more than them. You know what I'm talking about? Or you haven't dealt with something and you're going to tell somebody how they should deal with it. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. But, and I've always thought like this. This ain't just with no words. Remember, I used to be in jail. Nigga like, bro, should I go to trial? I'm not a lawyer. I don't have Esquire after my name. I can't tell you what to do because I don't have to live with the outcome. You know what I'm saying? If you go to trial and lose, you're going to blame me for that because I told you to do something for something that I didn't. You go to prison, what they got to do? No, you can't do people like that, man. Boy, Brother Reynolds say civilians used to tell him how right was and had never been there. How can somebody who's never been in a war zone tell a soldier what it's like to be in a war zone? Oh, you should have did this when you were on the battlefield. That's when you were like, well, whole nigga, you sign up and go. And then you tell me about what you did if you make it back. That's people for you, man. Just keep on rolling. Brother, woo, praise the Lord, you got up out of there. He said he was there 3 times. 3 tours? Because again, regardless of how deep a war might be, a war is a war. You ain't guaranteed to come home. Them boys be coming back traumatized. You know what I'm talking about? I know somebody who wasn't even on no battlefield and she got PTSD from being over there. You know what I'm saying? Because you see things that human beings ain't supposed to see. Nevertheless, Deuteronomy 32, right? Verse 30, he said, how should one chase 1,000 and 2 put 10,000 to flight, except the rock has sold them and Yahuwah has shut them up? For the rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. That boy say, how can, come on, man. Yes, and I can give you that. And that ain't no lie, because boy, that one thing Kevin Samuel say all the time, your single friends keep you single. Because Sade says it's kind of like how single friends are telling people in relationships and they haven't been in one or been in a successful one, what that person should do. That don't mean that you can, but that's just like somebody who done been had. That's like, take Steve Harvey, for instance. Why would anybody listen to Steve Harvey about having a successful marriage? Sir, you had 3 or 4 that failed. So I would not say that you are an authority on that matter. Now, maybe your present one is doing well, but you're 1 out of 4, son. You're 25% ratio. I don't know if you're an authority. That doesn't mean he couldn't have any relevant points or advice to give, but could you clearly say that he was an authority? Versus if you ran across somebody who had been married for 50 years, same person. I'm talking about just in the comparison aspect. Am I going to take more weight of the person who's been with the same person for 50 years or the person who's been married 4 or 5 times?
It depends on what it is. Yeah. Because the nigga who done had a bunch of failed marriages,
he gonna tell you what not to do.
Right. Yeah. And that's valuable.
But Steve Harvey ain't telling people what not to do.
Yeah, you're right. He's telling people what to do.
He's telling people what to do.
Yeah. That's why I said shut up. Yeah. On that, no.
Because the only people who tell men what not to do is a man who's been divorced and that woman took him for everything he got. He gonna be like this, boy, let me tell you something, boy. Marriage.
That's why Solomon put us up on.
Indeed.
That boy had broads.
So they say all her friends have yet to been in a relationship. So shoot, all they know how to get their back broke. I know they ain't virgins. Broke back mountain. I know they ain't virgins. I already know that. I know they ain't no virgin. Broke back mountain. Yes, sir. Okay, this you ain't lying. So the boys ran out there and got that book quick. Think like a man. You think they virgins? You don't know if they virgins or not. You check their hymen. You ain't check their hymen. Brother Smith say, "Sound like I had better advice in marriage than Steve Harvey. 15 years in, and he 43. No respect. See somebody who's been married 15 years, age 43 years old. That's something that a young person you could go talk to them. They got 15 years experience. You know what I'm talking about? You talking about being 15 years into being married? They got something to tell you. Especially being in his 40s, he definitely got something to tell you. Good things to tell you. He gonna tell you. So you know what I'm saying?
Things that work.
Things that work.
That's what I want.
It's right here.
Things that work.
He keeps the boat floating. Right
You
here.
know what I'm saying? Because you know what? I can tell you, when she go to act crazy, you know what I do? Shoot, I hit the ignore button. Just let her stay right on over there. Right on. Look how she looks. Yep. So there. Oh yeah. I'm a what? I don't. You sure? I don't know. Have you lived with yourself? Like this here. Study to say check, please. Like I said, we're gonna mosey on out of here. You know what I'm saying? But shoot, that's what I always do. Like this here. Oh, you with something? You'll calm down later. You'll be good. See how she shake? See, she don't want to say it now because y'all. See that face right there? That's the face of. She got the cat face on. You see that? That look like a real face to you, Steph? Just
Feel like a dessert.
Hey, shoot, I ain't joking though. Deuteronomy 32. The last laugh. What was that, man? Verse 37. Let's get to verse 40 and we can move on. You ain't lying right there, brother. That brother's gonna say, boy, lies bring headaches that Tylenol can't remedy. And that's one thing we serve. Ain't no sense of lying to no woman. Just tell her what it is. She'll get over it. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. If I wet my glittering sword and my hand take on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies and reward them that hate me. He gonna take hold of judgment, glittering sword. Come back to Psalm 99. Go and sit down. What's up, little Joe? Hey, man. That's a light. That's a light. Hey, little Joe. Psalms 99 and 5. He said, exalt ye Yahuwah are Elohim and worship at his footstool. He is Kadash. See, that take us over here to Hebrews 4. Didn't he tell you to come up there to his altar so that you can receive help in the time of need? Moses and Aaron among his priests and Samuel among them that call upon his name. They called upon Yahuwah and he answered them. He spake unto them in cloudy pillars. They kept his testimonies, the ordinance that he gave them. You answered them, O Yahuwah Elohim. You are Elohim that forgave them. You took vengeance of their inventions. Exalt Yahuwah Elohim and worship at his Kadash hill. For Yahuwah Elohim is Kadash. All he let you know is that you ain't no different than Moses and Aaron. That if you believe his testimonies and hold fast to him, he'll heal you too. You all right, Joe? Yeah, you all right, Joe. Come on back to Daniel 7. What is 7 and 11? 7 live. You ain't shooting no dice, is you, boy? You ain't shooting no dice, is you, boy? Daniel 7:11. I beheld then the voice of great words which the horn spake. I beheld even to the beast was slain, and his body was destroyed and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives was prolonged for a season and time. And in the night season, visions, I beheld one like the Son of Man with the clouds of heaven, came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before them. And there was given him dominion and esteem and a kingdom that all people, nations, languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom shall not be destroyed. Now, of course, you know this Aramaic, so these words are a tad bit different. When we have dominion here or sovereignty, it is Shultan. John, Lamar, Tet, and Noon. You can go ahead. Oh. What you want to fight? Fight. I don't know. You let me know. Look at you. You ain't tough. Say you ain't tough. Say you ain't tough. See, me and Lil Joe will take Lamar, Tet, and Noon. Ain't that right, Joe? You see yourself? Yeah. Lil Joe. That's Lil Joe. That's Lil Joe. This is for Dominion. That's about it. That's about the best you're gonna get out of it. Oh, you can sit back and say you got a good parent, or you can sit back and look at that. Got the life contained, and you can see that life was contained because the shepherd was consumed, and that's where you get your dominion. That's why he said that's what's given him a dominion. That dominion was given to him because he was consumed. Don't turn that page, son. We still got Zechariah chapter 6. I said don't turn that page, boy. 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 And you steady turning. And you steady turning. Steady turning. Start, don't stop. Now you got to go. Now you got to go. He said, I ain't trying to go nowhere. I was looking for this other word for kingdom. It should be Mal. It might be Malkut, but the Aramaic word different. It's Malkut, which is the same thing as it would be in Malkut. You got Mim, Lamad, Kaf, and U. So of course you're saying how what? Yahusha or that shepherd was subdued, and he secured you to Ruach because of his being ability to be subdued. All this is tying in because we're going to read something in Psalm 145 in a moment. But let me check Daniel 9 if we want to use that. We still need Zechariah 6. Because I didn't finish Zechariah 6. Yes. Daniel 9, 24. You can make it 23. Amen. King he is, sir. King he is. And at the beginning of your supplications, the commandment came forth, I am come to show you, for you are greatly beloved. Therefore, understand the matter and consider the vision. 70 weeks are determined upon your people and upon the Kadash city to finish the transgression. So what does that mean, to finish the transgression? To make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most Kadash. We already read in Revelation 5 how I talk about that vision seal. Everything about him, period. The first thing first, to make an end of sins. We know sin was made an end when he said it was finished. We know the reconciliation for iniquity was made when his blood was shed. We know the bringing in the everlasting righteousness is when he resurrected from the dead. Therefore, the Ruach HaKodesh could be given because he was esteemed. We know that the vision was sealed up and the prophecy and to anoint the most Kadash, because when he was resurrected from the dead, he was anointed, taking us back to the point of talking about why is it important about him being the anointed one. Let's continue in verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto Mashiach the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous time. So if you're a prince, what does that make you? Makes you a ruler. Princes have what? Dominion. Sovereignty. Son of a king. We just been establishing that. We got to finish that Zechariah 6. He's saying after 62 weeks, shall Mashiach be cut off, but not for himself, And the people of the prince that shall come destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood until the end of the war. Desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. That confirming the covenant is for confirming during unleavened bread.
What verse 26 will say after 3 weeks, you take that to like after 32 years.
No, when they say that 72 weeks, because you know they had it planned. They had it planned out.
2 weeks. I thought that was symbolic of 32.
Oh no, that's 72 weeks. That's 60.
Oh, okay.
What that is remember, because they knew from the time period from when the temple was rebuilt, they knew that he was supposed to be coming through. That's why they were looking for him. From the time that temple was rebuilt during the time of Ezra, they knew there was a certain time period where they were looking for him. You know what I'm saying? So after this here, that's why they was like, oh, we looking for him. Because they knew what the book said. So then when you turn around and you see after 72 weeks, he shall be cut off. Because the first thing it says is, know this, from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem under Mashiach and the Prince shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. We know from that what? When did that command go to rebuild Jerusalem? We read it a couple weeks ago. It came from Cyrus. You know what I'm saying? So now when you take that 7 weeks and then 72 weeks, that's 79 weeks. So now you got what? 79 weeks. Then he turned around, he said after those 62 weeks, he'll be cut off. So after this time period is done, he's going to die. And that's why it says confirm the covenant for 1 week. Because about the time, if I'm not mistaken, when they came up out of it, they celebrated tabernacles, is what we read. So you sit down and you do the math, it's going to drop right there at Passover. That's why it says he confirmed the covenant with 1 week. And then it say in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. Most bruisers always looking at it from the aspect of, see, he died on a Wednesday. And it's not talking about that. Why would it even mention
that? I heard that too. It's like the middle.
It's middle.
Week,
7. Middle of the week.
72 weeks.
They saying from
Tabernacles to Passover.
Likely, you said it was way back. But they saying after a certain period of time, after 72 weeks, all the stuff rebuilt, and it's really not even talking about the rebuilding of the physical temple for him. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they count. It's just counting out a certain period of time, 72 weeks, he dies. So then when we look at the time period of where that count gonna start, it's gonna have to fall during Passover, because that's when
you said 72 weeks.
It's really 79 weeks. Because remember it says 7 weeks and then 72 weeks. So we know this is 79 weeks is basically almost about a year and a half.
So you saying after the year and a half after they rebuilt the first temple, they knew at any point he was
Yeah. And they were looking for him.
Yeah, I mean, not a goal many miles wide.
They were waiting in general. Remember, they said he found him, Mashiach, they were looking for him. They knew he was supposed to come. Because you can see that throughout the whole New Testament that they were looking for him.
But now you explain why they were so adamant at that point.
Absolutely. They knew he was supposed to come. That's why they said, we read in the law and said Mashiach abide forever. They knew he would come. And they knew where he had to come and why he had to come there. They knew and understood all of that. Absolutely.
Thinking that
it's supposed to go down.
Yeah. We had been out the temple had rebuilt for a long time.
Long time.
And niggas had been pressing on after.
Yeah, you talking about temple everybody. Yeah. They looking for this, that, and the third.
Now you see why when they decided to like sound,
they were looking for him.
These niggas think they're gonna be part of the revolution.
Yeah, and it's understandably so.
They got the spirit, though. They ain't understand that.
They ain't know the gospel. They ain't know the totality of the plan. They didn't know that many generations after you had to be brought in to this.
They ain't understand the spirit. They don't like the acts.
Yes, truth be told, receiving the Ruach HaKodesh is the greatest revolutionary act that can ever be accomplished upon a man. Because to receive the Ruach means you rebelled against the world and the gods of it.
That's why I said that. You think y'all gonna be in the middle of them taking the kingdom?
Yeah, you know, to actually repent, and we talked about this a few weeks back. You know, there's many aspects of being revolutionary, but to actually repent and believe the words of Elohim is the greatest revolution, because that's a revolution against Satan and his rule. You're revolting against worldliness. You're revolting against carnality. You're revolting against, most importantly, out of all of that, idolatry. Yeah, it's Back to the Future.
That's what they got that stuff from.
Yeah.
Niggas coming back, prophets coming back, telling you about the future.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah, y'all niggas being told to leave revolution, y'all thinking it's something else.
Oh, that's because the Terminator was a messianic character. They put messianic character. I've told you this before. Movie plots are not that deep. That's all it was.
He sent the Terminator future to tell you about the revolution.
About what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Be a prophet.
How the world will be ruined because of the sin of the Terminator machines.
And you got to let him live because he got to be the one to die. Yeah. And eventually he dies and saves everybody.
He dies in the spirit pretty much so everybody can get it later and live.
Yeah. It's all the same. They did the same thing in Green Lantern. Superman is a messianic character. Sometimes they did it in the last Batman movie with Bane. He was a messianic character because he had to go up there and sacrifice his life for the saving of the people. And then he ducked off somewhere else as if he resurrected from the dead with a new white chick. Yeah, they got to go to hell. They do all of that to set you up for the beast, so you're worshiping him. You've already been mentally conditioned for it.
You just been on the left hand side.
You just been on the left hand side, finna die.
Dang, son.
That's why I be telling this. That's why I said, man. That's why I say you have to look at entertainment. You have to look at it for what it is, entertainment. You can't put no more stock in it. And that's why you have to look at it. I mean, you know. Sometimes when dudes be like, subliminal messages in movies, and you don't want to watch stuff no more because they ruin it for you. You can see it, but you have to understand what you're looking at. Because if you don't understand what you're looking at, it can permeate your spirit and it can destroy you from the inside out. Because you don't know what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? And that junk get in, and then your children emulate it. And that's why I say not to let them watch and see certain stuff. Now, like I said, now when the chicks were popping their booty cheeks on the camera, I said, no, you let her see that. So she could know. Because if Nick turned that corner, you're in the room playing music, and I see you in there talking about clap, make it clap, you from clap you down some stairs. You know what I'm talking about? Because you dying today. They're going to be like, why you killed her? She was in there acting like a whore. They only do that in the Middle East. Well, they did it in Florida today, right? They did it in Florida today. But that's an example when I was telling y'all, like, you need to let them see that. And then you need to tell them the results of what happens if you behave like that. You shouldn't hide them from that. Because guess what happens? She go out here in this world and she see chicks clapping booty and getting male attention, she gonna want to do it too. And she like them little boys paying attention to her, and she ain't understanding why they ain't paying attention to her. And she ain't gonna come to you be like, I see my friends, they was clapping their booties and all the boys was looking at them. They just gonna clap their booties with them. Because they not gonna understand. All they gonna see is what they perceive to be positive reinforcement and validation. Oh, you were just saying, well, be out there like the girls out there. Nigga, what is that dude? That's lazy parenting. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you go ahead and let them know. Look at these hoes twerking. You grow up and be Kim Kardashian. You know what I'm saying? Don't you grow up and do this here, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to get an old, bad, neat-looking boy. He going to get you pregnant. And you're going to get out my house. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't get out my house. You know what I'm saying? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You get out my house. You know what I'm talking about? Because again, like I said, Yahuwah can chastise you because he told you the consequence of your choice before you made it. That means when you made it, you were fully informed and you rebelled against my instructions. See, we feel like rebelling is, I told you not to do something and you did it anyway, but you didn't give any proper instruction, wisdom, and understanding on why they shouldn't have done it. So you didn't give them any instruction. You just, see, you weren't a leader, you were a boss. See, boss just tell people what to do. Leaders show people what to do. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what you have to do. You got to show them. Because I understood her, and she said, oh, no, this like Saul Corn. I said, no, let her watch. Let us see. Because we weren't expecting this nigga to have funky hoes clapping booty cheeks. And they were fat hoes, too. Shoot, 85%. You know what I'm saying? When I put that in the chat with the live stream with the dude Jason Black, are women wife material. He's never on screen.
He don't show himself.
So He had just a background, and then all of a sudden he went to clips of women twerking. You know what I'm saying? Saying like, and these are the women who want to get married. It was funny because they on the Fresh and Fit podcast, they had just had some young women on there, and they was like, a man of great means and does not want a woman who got videos on the internet of her clapping booty cheeks, because he was like, you can't get that off the internet. Once that's out there, that's out there. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a man of high status, you don't want to scoop up no chick in his videos of her popping it on the handstand. Your wife booty. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me see what Kira got on here. Kira said she just found out the movie book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is based off Yahoo Shop. Never seen it. Tavon just said they just saw Justice League and Mortal Kombat, and they told the girls how they venerate the woman necrophilia and talked more. They talked more than watched in most parts, because you have to explain to them kids what they're looking at.
What was the for the next part? You were like, most groups think it's Wednesday.
They think it's Wednesday because in the midst of the week, the covenant was confirmed in the middle of the week. He said, hey, 3 days and 3 nights.
Now,
unleavened bread is 7 days. Midst of the week, he confirmed it, and in the midst of the week, he caused the ovulation and sacrifice to cease. Once he resurrected from the dead, that was over. Yeah, that's why they believe he resurrected on the Shabbat.
Yeah,
but there was no need for him. Why would he resurrect on the Shabbat? That would be work. That means he wouldn't be following what his father did, because his father rested on the 7th day and was refreshed. So why would he get up on the Sabbath? Makes no sense if you know the law. That's absolutely asinine. He got up on the first day of the week. See, they look at them Christians. He ain't rise on no Sunday. Well, shoot, why wouldn't he? But that's man. And then that's what they're gonna say, and that's what I'm gonna look at you and say, okay, you don't know the law. Because that law say in Genesis 2 that he say on the 7th day he rested. When all his works was finished, he rested. Exodus 31 say on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed, which we know that refreshed means to get life. That's what it translates to. So why is he said he saw rest was good. So why is he gonna get up on the Sabbath day and tell his servants, his angels, go down there and roll that rock away? No, we resting, baby. It's over. We got a day off. You chilling. It's complete.
I said, join him in the morning.
Shoot, that's why he got up on the first day. But guess what? When he got up on the first day, what he went to doing right after that? Working. He started working all over again. Went to dropping that word on them boys. Went to popping up on them boys. He was working. Dudes don't know the law. They just be talking. That don't sound good because you want to be contrary to a Christian. This ain't about being contrary to a Christian. It's about being right in heaven. That's what the problem is. You want to prove a Christian wrong. I ain't got time to prove a Christian wrong. We're trying to prove the devil wrong. And it's already been proven. So all we got to do is just let the word flow. Thank the Lord. Zechariah chapter 6. That nigga hit the old man. Right. Hey, boy, she be doing that jump when it just be us in here. She be hitting the old. That's right. That jump always trip me out. That clip of Gino Jennings when he talking about grandma. Why you want to be a horse? That's it. Do the back say that's it. That's his line. That's it. Well, that first one, sometimes I play that jump back over and over again. Then he'll come say, that's it. Hey, cause old head me, every bit of that. That's it. That's it. Zechariah chapter 6, man. Verse 13. That's it. And he said, Grandma, why you wait to get old to become a whore? That's it. That's exactly what he said. He said, why you want to get old to become a whore? That's it. He's talking about the bird, long like bird claws. Your toes ain't picture. Hey, cause that nigga sound like he's smoking 1,000 pack of cigarettes. Hey, that nigga was funny on that one, though. That nigga say, if what I describe sounds like your wife, you're married to a whore. That nigga say, your toes ain't picture. Hey, that don't be funny because bro me every word. I'm talking about every word. Dude, that nigga don't be smiling. That nigga don't be grinning. That nigga mean every word. As he should. 6 and 13. Zechariah, even he shall build the temple of Yahuwah. He shall bear their esteem and shall sit upon his throne. He shall be priest upon his throne, and the council of Shalom shall be between them both. The crown shall be to Helam and Tobiah and Jediah, and to him the son of Zephaniah for memorial of the temple of Yahuwah. They that are far off shall come and build the temple of Yahuwah, and you shall know that Yahuwah of hosts hath sent me unto you. It shall come to pass if you will diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim. Remember that the book of Zechariah and the book of Haggai, and if I'm not mistaken, Zephaniah are all dealing with the time period when the temple was being rebuilt. Let's come on back to Psalms 145. Well, you better wipe it then. Psalms 145, we talked about that verse 3 already, right? That you got to search it out. Look at verse 4. One generation shall praise your works to another and shall declare your mighty acts. Now, we know what the law say, right? Do we need to go find what the law say? First and foremost, when we look at declare, you know that's not God. That is to tell, to announce, or to report, to be announced. Noon, Gamal, and Dalit. You are letting it be known that Yahushua was the messenger that was sacrificed for life. You're supposed to declare that and make that known. Bruce ain't making that known. You talking about everything else other than that. Here's what the book said. This ain't my personal opinion. Because it said one generation gonna praise his works. That's what it's saying. Then it say declare his mighty acts. If you want to know what the mighty acts is, that's Kavara. That's what? The mighty deeds of Elohim. Pause. John chapter 20. It say you're supposed to be declaring and announcing and telling everybody the mighty acts of Elohim. After that, First Chronicles 16, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, John chapter 20. Matter of fact, for John 20, Psalms 40, and then what was the other one? First Chronicles 16. John chapter 20, right? Real quick, like verse 29. Yahushua said unto him, Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Baruch the they that have not seen, but yet have believed. Many other signs truly did Yahushua in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written that you might believe that Yahushua is the anointed son of Elohim, and believing that you might have life through his name. What did he say? These are what? That means if they're written, that means you can announce them and tell them to another generation coming after you. Now come on over here, what that was, Psalm 40, if you would. In First Chronicles chapter 16. Psalms 40 and 4. It said, Baruch is the man that make Yahuwah his trust, and respect not the proud, nor such turn aside the lies. Many, O Yahuwah, my Elohim, are your wonderful works which you have done, and your thoughts which are the us words which they cannot be reckoned up in order unto you. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. Sacrifice and offering did you not desire, my ears have you opened. Burnt offering and sin offering have you not required. Then said I, oh, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. Now, First Chronicles 16. Hold on one second. There we go. We want to pick this up. First Chronicles 16, verse 23. Sing unto Yahuwah, all the earth. Show forth from day to day his salvation. Declare his esteem among the heathen and his marvelous works among all nations. For great is Yahuwah, greatly to be praised. He is also to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the people are idols, but Yahuwah made the heavens. Esteem and honor are in his presence. Strength and gladness are in his place. Give unto Yahuwah, you kindreds of the people. Give unto Yahuwah esteem and strength. Give unto Yahuwah esteem due unto his name. bring an offering, come before him, worship Yahuwah in the beauty of Kadash. But look at the thing that we got to look at, right? What did he tell you to do? To declare. Now, when we look at what the apostles did, that's what they went around and did, is that they declared his acts from one generation to the next. That's why it's called the Acts of the Apostles, the things that they did in the furtherance of the gospel. Come on back to Psalms 145. Look at what it says right here in verse 5, right? Psalms 145 and 5. I will speak of the glorious honor of your majesty and of your wondrous works. We look at majesty. Of course, that is whole, that is splendor, that is majesty, that is vigor, that is the beauty or the comeliness or the beauty that they did not desire in him when he was in the flesh. We just read that in Acts 18, right? What his name is, with Apollos. See, we don't want to look at Yahushua speaking of the good work. Let's take a look at something in Luke 9 real quick. Like, I think Luke 9 got what I want. Luke chapter 9, verse 46. Little Dale, what's up, cuz? Daddy. Little Dale. Daddy. But you just woke up on Sunday? You look like it too. Well, why your pants on backwards, boy? Clearly. Hard time in the city. Luke 9 and 46. Then there arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be greatest. Yahushua, perceiving the thought of their heart, took a child and set him by him. He said unto them, whosoever shall receive this child in my name, receive me. Whosoever shall receive me, receive him that sent me. For he that is least among you all, the same shall be great. See, he did something real smooth right there because he knew that that child was lesser than all of them. And he said, if that child can get somebody to believe in me, how is he any greater than you? John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in your name. We forbade him because he followed not with us. Yahushua said unto them, forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. So what is he telling them? If somebody out preaching in my name, what you stopping them for? They're declaring my mighty acts. If they're declaring my mighty acts, then my fame and my name is promoted. That's when we have to stop and sit back and look at every single solitary person, whether they're Christian or whether they're Hebrew, and are they declaring the mighty acts of Elohim? Because if they're not, then they're not doing what the man told you to do. Because if you're doing that, then who is the focus on? That it's on Elohim. And if the focus is on Elohim, then who you going to set your faith in? And if you set your faith in Elohim, then what's going to happen for you? Your soul gets spared. Your name get written in the book of life. Oh, don't let Mama see that. She going to tell you that's unhealthy. That you should only eat two. Too much sugar in there.
Well, if you watch 3.5 in the pack anyway.
I'm saying too much sugar in there. That's not healthy. She said, I eat two now, I eat two later. It's not healthy. Let's look at verse 6. Psalms 145. Men shall speak of the might of your terrible acts, and I will declare your greatness. They shall abundantly utter the memory of your great goodness and shall sing of your righteousness. Y'all know memory is a curve. So y'all notice here. So they said this, they're going to utterly, abundantly utter of the righteousness of Elohim. Abundantly utter is Navah, and that is simply that it will gush out and flow forth like a spring. So you know what we're finna do. John 7:37. For an individual to do that, they would need to be filled with the Spirit. And again, being filled with the Spirit is not necessary for you to have the ability to do that. Doesn't mean that you're a preacher, but guess what? That just means his words is in your heart. And if his words is in your heart, then of course you're going to speak of his goodness and his great and mighty acts. It's going to flow right out because why? It's written on the fleshly tables of the heart. That's common sense. See, there's a difference. Now, this is what the Christian people call it. They're calling somebody who's witnessing. They're not a preacher, They're just saying, hey, Jesus do this here. And he did this here, and he did this here, and he did this here, and he's great, and he did this here, and he did this here, and I roll with him. And if I was you, I'd roll with him too. See, ain't nothing wrong with that. You ain't got to be no preacher for that. That ain't no different than you telling somebody about a close personal friend. At the end of the day, because that's really what you're doing. Because he said, you are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. So you ain't doing nothing to tell him about your friend. Your friend just happened to be your Lord, your sovereign, your ruler, your high priest, your apostle, your shepherd, your father, your redeemer, and your king. Because see, that was when we was telling y'all about that clip, and that lady was like, yeah, Jesus is my homie. With Crenshaw, gang, and all this here. He looking at it like, this how you talk about God, baby? That's the level of respect you got. But guess what, though? Ain't no different. You look your husband in the face, like, what's up, bro? Bro, that's the level of respect you got for your husband. He your bro. The disrespect. But why you talk like that? Because you're young and you've been around women who ain't had no husband. I mean, their mamas ain't had no husbands. So, because I guarantee you find a woman 40 and above, she wouldn't dare look her husband in the face and call him bro. Bro, you tripping, bro. Niggas, you a man or my wife? What did I marry? Because if you got a penis, we're going to have a conversation. Because that's a respect thing. We don't look at it that way because you just thinking, hey, that's just how we talk. You know what I'm saying? But that's an honor issue. Because when you look Yahoo Shah and say, what's up, bro? You got dudes who be like, Yahoo Shah, big brother. That's disrespect. You're supposed to have more respect for him than that. Is he your older brother? No, he's your father. It's not your brother. Is he your brother, scripture-wise? Yeah. But in reality, that's your father. Would you talk to your father that way? Some niggas do, because they ain't got no respect. That's why the text tell you if somebody is a bishop, you're supposed to treat him like a father if he out of pocket. They can feel like somebody can be older than them and they can talk to them as if they're their peer, have no respect. And I want to lay that at the feet of every young person. That's just because of the decline of society. Society has no longer upholds those standards, so people don't feel the need to be respectful or to look at certain stations or people or age and to hold that with honor and reverence on how you communicate with them. The only people that modern people, whether male or female, know how to communicate with respect is Mr. Charlie on the job. Everybody talk to Mr. Charlie nice. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody talk to Mr. Charlie nice. Like I said, I heard that nigga say code switching. I ain't never code switched a day in my life. Y'all know what that is? You know what that is? You know what it is. You put your white lady voice on.
That's what me and Tommy were talking about. We had a long conversation like that. We were riding. And we were like, I talk to him, you know what I'm saying? I like, make them know I'm you know what I'm saying? I know what they be on. I was like, bro, I don't do none of that, bro. Like, you talking to me?
That nigga talk all that gangster talk on the job, code switch.
Bro, if I ain't on that, I'm not even fake. I'm on that. I'm not gonna have a conversation with them like I'm cool with that. When I go on my personal time, ain't got nothing to do with that. Nah, bro, you faking, bro. You ain't on that for real. Don't talk with them like you on that for real.
I sure don't.
Business for their money. For them to make it look like you got good customer service.
I don't do none of that.
You ain't on that. You don't believe in that. Don't talk to them like you even interested. Just because you not have knowledge on it. I got knowledge on all they paying you customer service. But I'm not going to talk to them like I'm
definitely not. Unless they ask.
And if they ask, I'm going to talk to it. I really feel about it.
I done had conversation with it because I had them things on. When they see, like, it'd be funny to me that people really think these be gold things. When they see a nigga, that just trip me out. You know what I'm talking about? Because, like, Kyle thought, see, with the chain, he thought it was gold. Like, bro, these are beads, bro. You can't tell this is wood. Like, nigga, this is wood. Like, this is unmistakable. But it can have some shine. But once you get in close proximity, you should be able to tell that is a wooden medallion. Maybe it's just me. But you know what I'm saying? Bro, them people already know. They see it. They be like, oh, some people like, oh, I see you got your who on this. So most of them already know. Oh, bro, not on that. You know what I'm saying? My man Obi was like, boy, I'm going to get you some boots for Christmas, man, because you always out here with some slides on. Man, Obi know I don't celebrate no Christmas, but it's happy for him. And get what I did? Laughed and kept on moving. Because, shoot, I ain't going to take them boots. Christmas or not. Come back.
Oh, this live.
Factual. Comfortable. I want to be comfortable. They tripping people out all the time. You do that in slides, it get done, don't it? It do. All right then. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you said, they definitely try to want you to break down and
But see, it's for them. It's not even breaking down because I've explained this to Brandon a few times. You live in a society where it's just implied that everybody does it. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going about like, this nigga don't celebrate Christmas. I'm gonna mess with him anyway. Their thought process is, you already do. You know what I'm saying? So when you tell them, like, oh, they hit me, hey man, you can do this on Saturday. I'm like, yeah, I don't work on Saturday, bro. I don't even go to IKEA. I'm like, bro, I work Sunday through Friday, bro. I don't work on Saturday. One dude asked my man Chad, and he do what he asked. I'm like, yeah, I keep the Sabbath. Oh, you know Shabbat Shalom, bro. I get you. I gotta understand. No sweat. You know what I'm saying? Because when you tell them, but it's so rare, many people who keep the Sabbath that once you tell them people you keep the Sabbath, they already know what time you on, and they're not finna fool you.
most time niggas think you Muslim.
Some do, but it's until they hear that Sabbath.
That's that.
Yeah.
I one later down like that's religious.
Shalom, Saram.
We already know.
Kira say she said that's probably why she don't get no callbacks, because she don't put her white voice on.
I'll take Christianity. See, it's true. If you take some religious shit, they're gonna go straight to Muslim.
Yeah, that is true, because in general, most people believe that Muslims are definitely a lot more serious about what they're doing.
If you black and you say religious, they're gonna say Muslim.
Yeah.
They don't push it.
Amen, that. Amen. Yeah, but
like you said, what you say, I keep it Sabbath. Yeah, it really because pastors come shit like y'all talking like like got holidays coming.
Straight up. John 7:37. No, that's just for real though. Like I said, for the most part, with most people, bro, if you tell them you keep the Sabbath, now you gonna have some, I'm talking about, and they familiar. It really be yours to be told. And they familiar, then people gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna leave you alone, because I know niggas don't say they keep the Sabbath. People, period, don't say they keep the Sabbath. And you telling me that you're forgo money for, matter of fact, I was telling the little dude at B Invaders, I don't know if you ever seen the one on Merrill, he kind of handicapped arm and stuff. He had to be in there during the day. But he was like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, man, he watch wrestling. He was like, man, you gonna slide through to any of these shows coming? I was like, it's funny. I said, my old lady was just talking about going to when I go to AEW show, but I'm like, that joint be on Wednesday. We got a prior commitment. He said, oh, church, huh? I'm like, yeah, because he said you said Wednesday. Because I don't be trying to go through all that with people. But as soon as I said that, he was like, oh, you do the word. I understand. He slid. But he was just speaking in general. Because I'm like, we just had a conversation. I'm like, if they had shows on Tuesdays or Thursdays, oh yeah, I slide down there one good time just to say I went to the show of a company based out of the city, see what they got going on.
Get up on the third, they trying to say something. Another story.
Oh, that's another story. That's wrestling people.
Well, back to you, bud. Yeah,
but really, don't even be that many people in there. That be the wrestlers.
No, yeah, wrestling section, maybe savages.
Yeah, that's the wrestling. Sean said the restaurants just would swear he was just trying to get out of work on busy days. I remember an L House dude hitting up this about 9 years ago. He was like, yeah, man, we need a dishwasher. What? I said, that's a bad. I said, I can't work on Saturday though. You can't tell me what days you ain't gonna work. You want me to slay it fast or slow it down? You know what I'm talking about? Like, I already knew the dude because we were cleaning up in the restaurant already overnight. I'm like, you want me to say it fast or slow it down? You can't tell me what days you gonna work. Bro, you already know I keep the Sabbath, nigga. You thought I was gonna change that for you, nigga? And $12, $13 an hour? Nigga, blow it out your butthole. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up and down, I don't care nothing about that money coming. Straight up, I don't care nothing about that. Like, you think I care about some money? But people think people care about money over you, bro. Straight them down. And guess what? Most people do. Yeah. John 7:37. Most people do. Most niggas old. Most people been. Boy, I be wanting to fade Hebrews when I hear them say that.
Gotta get the daily bread. That's daily.
It's lawful to do good on the Sabbath, brother. That's why I go to work for these 8 hours. Who you doing good for? Who?
Daily
If
bread.
you don't take care of your kids, you's an infidel. Get your cow behind out of here. You a whole nigga. You telling your son that you too much of a big behind coochie, a coward, a buster, a sucker, if you would, to say, son, some things money can't do nothing for. You telling your son to be a buster. You telling your son compromise your integrity for a paycheck, nigga. You acting like you making $79 an hour, nigga. You missing out on eternal life for $13.50.
And you make $150 a day.
Ain't even making $150 a day after tax, nigga. I'm talking about you are making an average salary. An average salary is worth going to hell for. A lower average. At least if you're gonna go, to hell, niggas get paid. If you're gonna go to hell, get paid, young nigga, get paid. But all jokes aside, scrapping all that out the side, you got to be able to look your son in the face. And you got to be able to look your son in the face and say, son, you got to be a man of integrity, a man of honor, and a man of I don't want to say morals, but a man of standard that has a code of etiquette in which he lives by, that he doesn't compromise for any man for the threat or loss of anything. So that means you got to be man enough and your wife got to be woman enough to know that daddy would never compromise the word of Yahuwah for a paycheck. And if that funky hoe don't like it, then put that stinking slut on the street. You know what I'm talking about? But that's what nigga don't want to do. She talking about, he ain't go to work, he lost his job because he wanted to keep the Sabbath. And put that funky hoe out your house. You know what I'm talking about? Because you don't deserve to dwell here. And you don't deserve to benefit from nothing that I earn, you dog-faced hoe you. And you can take your bastard churn with you. Real, man. Well, I feel that all that. Well, if you got a problem with me serving you to the point you talking trash, well, guess what? Clearly, I'm an idiot because I married the wrong hoe. And I said hoe and I mean hoe. You know what I'm talking about? So get what? You get your funky coochie behind up out of here. I don't care where you live, and you can take your turn with you because I don't want them either. Because they got pieces of you in them. That means they tainted. So you can take them with you. And I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, ho. Now, how you feel about it? I'm going to go in the back, baby. I thought you made the right decision. Straight up and down. You better be a man. That's part of not giving your strength over to a woman. That's why the nigga be going to work.
You burn like a cat.
That's why them niggas be going. Sometimes you gotta wait till you will give you a job where you ain't gotta work on the Sabbath. Get your hoe behind out of here, nigga, be a man. Nigga, get your nuts out your stomach. Straight up and down, though, boy. That's your wife talking. When I hear grown men don't talk like that, that's your wife talking. You know, you gotta stay on the job till Yahuwah provide. Come on, but so you mean to tell me Yahuwah would tell you to go against him so he can give you some time to get something that you won't go against him? Come on, what you take me for, man? I'm a whole man over here. That's disrespectful to my sensibilities. You know what I'm talking about? I don't appreciate that. Straight up and down, that's woman talking.
Oh, man. Yes.
No, that's a woman talking. You hear a man talking like that, men don't talk like that. That's his wife talking. You know, it's lawful to do good, brother, you know. Cause you know, you gotta get that daily bread, man. You gotta take care of your family. You living with a scarcity mindset, nigga. How you roll with Yahuwah who can give riches beyond your comprehension at any time he desires? Talking about you gotta take your scary behind out of here, nigga. Come on, boy. Look here, man. I done seen this. Come on, man. That's how you know them niggas ain't righteous. Cause if you was righteous, nigga, you wouldn't be worried about it. But you worried about begging for bread. Shut your hoe behind up, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. And he say he ain't never seen the righteous forsaken or begging for bread. So you thinking if you lose your job on the Sabbath, you gonna be out here on the street. You don't trust Yahuwah. I know what you telling me, nigga. See, I know the word, boy. You can sell that to them cornball niggas you congregate with. You ain't gonna sell it to me. You ain't gonna sell it to me and think I'm gonna purchase that cow with junk you talking, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell niggas, boy, so you gonna tell a nigga don't work on the Sabbath? I ain't gonna tell a nigga nothing. Y'all done heard me telling. I ain't gonna tell you what to do. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll show you better than I can tell you. I ain't coming. Put me on the schedule if you want it. I ain't coming. I done had people hit me, yeah, you can do this job, we need you on Saturday. Well, shoot, that money gone. Because I'm gonna tell you what my big homie told me when I was selling dope. He said, "Boy, you can't miss what you never had. If you ain't never called to serve, you ain't never had it. So how you gonna miss it?" I say, "Show you right, my nigga." I'm like, "Hey, boy, I missed about $1,000." He said, "You ain't missed nothing. You ain't never had it." I said, "Shoot, don't even count that. Don't even count that." Hey, I say, "Shoot, real talk, my nigga. Ain't miss what you never had. So chew. I ain't missed nothing." And get what? The rock still sold. So I still made that break. So it ain't made no difference. John chapter 7, verse 37. That last day, the great day of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, "If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believe on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly flow rivers of living water." You see how it said? That's what's going to flow up out of you. Because what he said that comforter would do, bring to remembrance everything that he what? Said unto you. But this spake he of the Ruach, which they that believe on him should receive, for the Ruach HaKadosh was not yet given, because that Yahushua was not yet esteemed. So this is the reason that word flow out. I mean, you're going to be talking about, because what he said, remember what he said, how would it flow out? He that what? Believe on him as the what? Scripture have said. Then he said out of his blood. So that's all that was going to happen. Now what you see, that you will abundantly utter the memorial of your great goodness and sing of his righteousness. Verse 8 of Psalms 145, because I got to crank it up. There's 21 verses in this chapter. That Yahuwah is gracious, full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. We dealt with that a couple months ago, so it doesn't even need us to do that. Say Yahuwah is good to all. His tender mercies are over all his works. Notice that he said good to all. Not good to some, good to all. All is kole. That is all, the whole, totality, everything. So that cancel that. When they talk about he only good to Israel, you're lying. And for the characters, that's Kaf and Lamar. The shepherd was subdued. He was subdued. Why? Because Adam is the son of Elohim. Yahusha is the second Adam, and the redemption from death must be made. Hey, little muffin.
See, Mickey ran the just.
Hey, little muffin. She's starting to recognize that name, but she doesn't recognize it right now. Psalms 145 and 10. All your work shall praise you, O Yahuwah, and your saints will bless you. This is why we hear verse 11. Let's go with it. They shall speak of the esteem of your kingdom and talk of your power, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts and the glorious majesty of his kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endure throughout all generations. So now, let's begin. Mighty acts, we just talked about that. So that's Gavor. We already know. We just talked about that. By the acts, we want to look at majesty. That is Hadar. You know that kingdom is Malkuth. So you know that this is the majesty and splendor of the kingdom. His kingdom is an everlasting Malkuth, which is, is Olam. We already talked about dominion. So this is what we're going to do. Mark chapter 1. Looking over, you got some snacks over there? Because the baby watching you. She like this. She say she got to watch you. She say she heard you still. She said she heard. Mark 1 and 11. She said she heard about you. Mark 1 and 11. And there came a voice from Shamahim saying, "You are my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased." And immediately the Ruach drive him into the wilderness. And he was there in the wilderness 40 days, tempted of the adversary, and was with wild beasts, and the Malachim ministered unto him. Now after that, John was put into the prison. Yahushua came into Galilee, preaching the gospel of the kingdom of Elohim, saying the time is fulfilled, the kingdom of Elohim is at hand. Repent you and believe the Basar. So when we see him talking about preaching the kingdom of Elohim, what is he bearing witness to? The reign and dominion of Yahuwah. Let's go to Isaiah 52 and 7 on general principle. Don't get in trouble, cuz I hate it for you. Isaiah 52, verse 7. Make it 3. Isaiah 52 and 3. It says, for thus saith Yahuwah, you have sold yourselves for nothing. You shall be redeemed without money. For thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, my people went down aforetime into Mizraim to sojourn there, and the Syrian oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, whatever I have here, saith Yahuwah, that my people is taken away for nothing. They that rule over them make them to howl, saith Yahuwah, and my name continually every day is blasphemed. Therefore my people shall know my name, therefore they shall know in that day that I am he that do speak, behold, it is I. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bring good tidings, that publish shalom, that bring good tidings of good, that publish salvation, that say unto Zion, your Elohim reigns. Which of course, you know, that's Malik. He has rule or dominion. Let's begin then. Matthew chapter 5, verse 3. Hey, y'all doing too much talking? I don't like it. Be quiet. What are we talking about? Remember, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts, and that they're going to speak of the glory of his kingdom, and they're going to talk of his power. So what do we have to talk about? You're talking about his kingdom and his power. First and foremost, you're going to be talking about his rule. You're going to be talking about the resurrection of the dead and the esteem of said kingdom. What is that esteem of said kingdom? I have not seen, nor the ear heard, nor has it entered into the hearts of man, what Elohim has prepared for those that love it. That means, as you know in Revelation, that street's made of paved, pure gold. City with gates, with pearls on the top, with the name of the apostles in it. That's what they're going to be talking about. You're talking about an everlasting dominion. You're talking about an everlasting dominion that cannot be destroyed. That's why we read that in Daniel chapter 7. Matthew 5 and 3, though. Hey, be quiet. Blessed are the poor in Ruach, because theirs is the kingdom of heaven. We've already talked about that. Those who have a humble spirit, they belong in the reign of eternity. Because if you say kingdom of heaven, you're talking about reign of eternity. Because heaven is eternal. Drop to verse 10. Listen to this one here. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. See, if we're going to talk about his power, we have to talk about what allows individuals to take hold of this power. See, pause. I want to say, what is it? 2 Corinthians chapter 12. And this particular matter in Psalms 145 may be continued over. Because if you're talking about declaring his kingdom, that's a lot of information. Clearly, because we had to spend a long time just to set it up. Second Corinthians chapter 12, right? We can pick this up right here in about verse 7. Lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelations that was given to me, a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of the adversary to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. He said unto me, listen what he says, my mercy or my grace is sufficient for you. My strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, I will rather esteem in my infirmities that the power of Mashiach may rest upon me. Therefore, I take the pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Mashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Now think about what he's stating to you in regards to talking of his power. The talking of his power is when you're placed in a lower position. Therefore, his power, aka his strength, aka your faith in him to strengthen you, is made manifest. We saw the greatness of his power just on the simple fact that Yahushua was crucified. But let's continue. What else do I desire? Come on to Matthew chapter 6. We're just going to run it down all the way in chronological order. Something we ain't did in years. I like that. Matthew 6 and about 10. Make it about 6 and 6. After this, Matthew 6, we go to First Chronicles chapter 29. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 6. But when you pray, enter into your closet. And when you shut your door, pray to your Abba, which is in secret. And your Abba, which see in secret, shall reward you openly. But when you pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, for they think they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be not you therefore like unto them. For your Abba know what things you have need of before you ask of him. After this manner, therefore, pray. Our Abba, which art in Shamahim, Kadash be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the esteem forever. Amen. Look at the key component of what we're talking about here. He asked for you to do what? How did he instruct you to pray? That his what? That his reign and dominion comes. That means you're praying that Elohim would rule on the earth. See, right now, Ali, that's the part we miss about preaching the kingdom of heaven. What did we just see in Isaiah 52, what it said? Bring the good news and declare unto Zion what? Your Elohim rules. Because when you preach the kingdom of heaven, you are telling men that Yahuwah will rule on the earth. Revelation chapter 21. I think most men don't want to deal with that because they don't believe that he's going to come rule on the earth. The man coming to rule on the earth. He said he did not make the earth in vain. He made it to be inhabited. Revelation 21 and 1. And there's things, well, let's pause this here, right? When you're dealing with rule and dominion, what things do you associate with rule, with dominion? Kings. Also, because they be structure, rules, order. Those are all the things. That's where the things come in at with him mentioning laws and repentance and all, because there's structure and order in a rule of dominion. There ain't no free fall. If it's a dominion, that means there has to be rules because there is no lack of order in a dominion. That means it's a free for all. See, people want a free for all. You do have to have institutions. Absolutely. That's why when you look at certain aspects of modern day society, you see certain institutions have lasted so long because they demand order. See, contrary to popular, I would talk to somebody about this, and they was like, you just keep carrying women can't leave because they can't, because women don't like order. Because she's going to get bored. Because to have order, you have to be repetitious, which we done talk about it before. You have to be monotonous. It's the same thing every day. That's why you don't have a lot of millionaire entrepreneurial women. And it's not because men are stopping them from doing it. Because when it comes to being an entrepreneur, no one can stop you from doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Because your fate is in your own hands. What ends up stopping most is the repetition and the risks. Most people don't want to do anything that has any risk associated to it. And most people want to have fun. So when you go to doing something and you have to do the same thing every day for 10 years, people won't do that. That's why most people who have businesses, they don't have any systems, no any of those things, because that's an institutions of structure. That means that's a plug and play. You know what I'm talking about? I can take you out and I can plug somebody else in and it's going to keep going. You know what I'm talking about? And most black people won't even pay somebody to teach them that. That's what most black people problem is. You want something for nothing. You won't pay a nigga for his knowledge. Because you feel like because he got the knowledge, he should give it to you. And if he don't give it to you, he being a hater or he being this here. That man time is valuable. And the information that he has is valuable. And the fact that you feel you're entitled to another man's time and information without properly compensating him for it definitely says a lot about you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you've been around people who got money, the last thing they want to hear is, so when can I come down and pick your brain? They don't want to hear that. Man, I got things to do. I got things to do. And talking to you ain't one of them. Because the first thing that you ain't taught to do, which is your father should have taught you this, is to show yourself how to be valued to a person of means. How can you be an asset to them so that they can be an asset to you? Because then they'll be more inclined to assist you because you're not coming with your hand out. Because that's whole stuff. Women come out with their hand out. Men supposed to come out with, it's what I bring to the table to help you so you can help me. That's how men build. We've been taught to think like women, to think somebody owe you something. You know what I'm saying? That man don't owe you nothing. And trust me, believe me, I've been around a lot of niggas. Niggas definitely feel like you don't give back. Well, what he supposed to give you, nigga? Because where was you giving when he was working? You were watching, waiting for him to give you a handout. That's what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, to get free information is rare. So when you run across people who take their time to give out free information, niggas don't even be appreciating that. Free information? Bro, I know too many people who give out free. But you should see in that real estate space where them people be talking, bro, they be like, man, so you mean to tell me you want to invest $1,500? But these people feel like these people supposed to, oh, he's scamming, he wants some money. So you mean to tell me you want a nigga to divert his attention away from what he doing to personally mentor you for free? For free. That junk ain't right. That ain't a black people thing though. That's an American.
Even on that success, like working at Amazon, the only reason that nigga business don't went like that in one generation is because that nigga system.
Definitely.
Got system in place. My nigga, who can't get with that system?
He gonna get you out of there. He gonna get somebody in there who can.
That's like that's military. They already know.
It's easy for them.
So they know you gonna follow the rules.
Definitely.
You gotta follow the rules.
You ain't got no choice. You going to jail. You going straight to the brig. Oh shoot! I just seen a little dude I know. They say, what's the worst thing you got in trouble for in the Army? He said he got in trouble because his superior officer called his phone and he said hello. And he had to write a 1,000-page essay on professionalism. And nigga say he was supposed to answer, hello, this is private such and such. How may I help you? On his personal phone.
Another business like that, Chick-fil-A.
Oh, Chick-fil-A systems are impeccable. The systems are impeccable. Because these people are not going to open up their inside ever again. And boy, you can see a mountain of cars in their line. Boy, you're not going to be in that line for no 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, but they put contrary properly, they have corporate offices in the region, they have agents that go through that auditors. But let a worker not say,
he fired.
Fired. Or they know that's it. But they have people that come through their faith to get more than just to monitor their service. How timely it is, how professional it is, what every person said, every person how they look, how they dress, they color their shirt, all that.
Because they got institutions set in place. But you know what that is? This is something somebody said to me this here, right? If you have a particular standard, you're going to demand it. And that means everyone around you is going to have to meet it or they're going to fall to the wayside. And like I said, that's why I mentioned that to you earlier. Especially women in this generation, you are not accustomed to someone demanding more than mediocrity or the bare minimum. To the point when they make the demand, you thinking he's being a douchebag. You thinking he being extra. When really, you're not doing anything. You the nigga in the back of the class doing just enough to get his diploma. And thinking somebody supposed to pat you on your back, you graduated from high school. Woo-hoo, you didn't do nothing. Nigga, you slept through class, you almost failed, you was this close to going to summer school. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down, though. Why do you think so many people in the world are mediocre? Why do you think so many people in the world in the word are mediocre? Nobody's demanding anything of you. All niggas doing is sitting around playing victim or the Israelite parade, and you niggas trash as men. You're trash to your brethren, you're trash to your wife, you're trash to your kids because no one's demanding anything of you. You know what I'm saying? And that come from because your daddy wasn't in the house, so there was no man to demand excellence from you. You know what I'm saying? When you used to accustomed to getting by with mediocrity, excellence seems offensive. You know what I'm saying? That seems offensive because I don't think people realize what it takes to be great. So they were just talking about this as well. We didn't talk about this on the sports aspect. Do you realize how many things that the higher echelon athletes had to miss out on in order to be great? But screw sports. Most people who own businesses, like I say, man, nigga might say it sounded funny, but all jokes aside, somebody who working 12, 15, 16 hours a week, a day, 5, 6 days a week, well, that man ain't trying to come home and have sex with you for no hour. That man he ain't concerned about taking you out on no date, because the time that he's spending working is affording you the ability to live the life that you have. But you want him to do all that work and give you this romantic stuff on top of it. You smoking rocks because you have not sat back and considered, in order for that man to produce that level of greatness, it takes a large level of investment and sacrifice to do so. It's just, you can't do it working 3 hours. You can't do it working a couple days out the week and just thinking that's going to happen. That's because most women don't do it, so they don't know. You think, like I said, for Jeff Bezos to be worth what he's worth, you have no idea the many, many man hours he put in long before that for that company to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? There probably were days that this man ate nothing and worked 20 hours in a day in order to live the life that he has now. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't, that's not even just no women, most people don't understand that. What had to be done? We could take that with Yahoo Shop. Most people do not understand the work that he had to do in order to achieve what he achieved. That's why he said he'll be called great. That's why he says, speak of his mighty acts and let that be known. Niggas around here talking about DMX mighty acts, won't talk about the Lord. Fuck DMX, and he can't do nothing but smoke box, tail lies, and impregnate multiple women. What is there to talk about? And on some songs, rap about the devil. Yeah, he might have made some music you like, but I'm just using that as an example. Niggas will declare the mighty acts of sinners before they declare the mighty acts of you. Let a sinner die, you ready to talk about it. Oh, no, not Black Rob. You niggas ain't never bought that man album. You didn't have Life Story. You didn't listen to it. Bro, these niggas acting all crazy. Oh, not Sharp G. Well, you ain't listened to Humpty Dance since 1989, nigga.
Actually, new Sharp G.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas wasn't listening to no Shot. Nigga can't tell you 3 songs Shot G produced. And he produced a lot of songs that you like.
I think the biggest. I think the biggest.
Every time I got that new Nipsey, bro.
They ever that nigga was.
Yeah, we came out on
That nigga was the.
one person.
Man, I heard that the Victory Lap album, she said, listen to it. I said, that jump was straight. You know what I'm saying?
His music wasn't attractive to the fact, like you said, nigga. Nobody acknowledged his work ethic. No one acknowledged his nigga at all.
Come on, let's get it Revelation 21. I'm just sitting the date, right? And I ain't talking about people in the world because this is what I expect. I'm talking about it's people in the word who are ready to declare the acts of men before they declare the acts of you. That's something we have to consider. You got an attitude?
Hey, you over here, sit down.
Got a problem? No. I can solve it. 2 + 2 is what? 4 knuckles right on your nose. Ha ha! Revelation 21:1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. Yeah, I heard it. I seen it. I didn't even know Shock G lived in Tampa. I didn't even know he was from the East Coast. The whole time I thought he was from Oakland. But he was not. And the first earth passed away, and there was no more sea. And John saw the Kadash city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim out of Shamahim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men. He shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Elohim himself shall be with them and be their Elohim. Now, Elohim on the earth, guess what he gonna do? He gonna rule. He gonna rule. He gonna have dominion. He gonna have the power. 1 Chronicles 29. You all right? What's wrong? Oh, Daddy then got your sister, so you was upset about that. You said you wanted some attention. 1 Chronicles 29:9. Well, 29:10. That what it was? That what it was, Joe? Over the wall, Joey.
That's because of the mouth.
First Chronicles 29:10.
All right.
Wherefore David, Baruch Yahuwah, before all the congregation. David said, blessed be Yahuwah, Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharal, our Abba, forever and ever. Thine, O Yahuwah, is the greatness, the power, the esteem, the victory, the majesty. All that is in heaven and earth is yours. Yours is the kingdom. O Yahuwah, you are exalted as head above all. Both riches and honor come of you, and you reign over all. And in your hand is power and might, and in your hand is to make great and to give strength unto all. Now, therefore, our Elohim, we thank you and praise your esteemed name. But who am I? And what is my people that we should be able to offer so willingly after this sword? For all things come of you, and of your own have we given you. For we are strangers before you and sojourners, as were all our fathers. Our days on the earth are as a shadow, and there is none abiding. O Yahuwah Elohim, all this store that we prepared to build you a house for your Kadash name, come of your own hand, all is your own. Why you think he said all those that you've given me are yours? That's why he's telling you that. See, David has enough. See, this is what I mean like this here, right? You can just in the aspect that you did is if you buy your husband something, all you basically did was give him back that which was his. What you would be doing is the very thing that all of us would be doing if you made an offering or sacrifice to Yahuwah. You're just giving to him what is already his. He ain't gonna be looking at it like you make my own stuff. No, that's not how he views it. He views it that you saw it, that it was necessary for you to come and present a gift and present to him who is superior to you. You know what I'm saying? Because Yahuwah already knows that that's his. That means he knows that you held him in that level of esteem. He already knows that. See, that's the part that people be tripping on. Oh, I made an offering, I paid a tithe. You giving God what is his. That's not yours, boy. This is a thing that we used to tell people. I think I got one in my pocket. I think I got one. Like, I can't say what they do in other countries. I think I got one. I just. Y'all do know what they make these out of, right? Not even trees. Well, you could say it's a tree, but it's not a technical tree because it's not technically paper. Unless they done change the formula. Y'all know what they make dollars out of? Cotton. Cotton. And where does cotton come from? The earth. So all you were doing is if you had $1 and you was paid, you just giving Yahuwah back what is his because it was made from cotton. It ain't no synthetic material.
Okay, I see from something.
Yeah, coins is made from alloy, copper, nickel,
They changed.
possibly gold.
It used to be real silver and gold.
They do still make gold coins. They don't give it out to the public.
To the public. They took that back.
But the point of the matter is that if you was to give that in any type of offering, all you would be giving to Yahuwah back what is his, because what it's made from is made from things that belong to him. You know what I'm saying? That's why he told you that in Psalms 50. He said, I asked any of you for a bullock or a goat. He said, if I was hungry, I wouldn't tell you. And if I was thirsty, I wouldn't let it be known, because you ain't doing nothing but giving to me what's mine. You're giving to me what is mine. It's the fact that you saw fit in your heart that you didn't see it as it was yours, that you saw it as it was mine, and you say, let me render unto you what you've rendered unto me. See, that's a level of selflessness that most servants of Elohim do not possess. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Making a sweet smelling savor. Sweet
smelling savor. All them animals his. You think you doing something because you bought him a sheep, a lamb, or a goat, and that was he created it? Nah, see, you climbing up here, see, and that's why you got to go. See, you did it to yourself, Joe. To yourself, Joe. I think we can stop that right there. This is probably y'all willing what we'll pick up back on Wednesday, which is in this verse 11. And then back in Psalms 145, because we had 2.5 hours, and I'm not going to keep going because I ain't going to fit anything in. And we'll look at how he is the greatness, the power, the esteem, the victory, and the majesty, how all that pertains to his kingdom or his rule. And when we look at that, because there's more in Psalms 145, we ain't get to all of it, so we're going to revisit. So, blessings out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I appreciate y'all time this afternoon. Oh, my bad, Joe. No, I know that hurts. I know. My bad, Joe. My bad, Joe. My bad, Joe. My bad, Joe. The main thing, because we had to set up a lot of stuff to get to that about kingdom and dominion. And of course, we're going to look at things in the aspect you were willing of Yahushua going through, talking about the greatness of the kingdom, but also his apostles doing the same. For us to understand that that is what we are supposed to do, which is to declare his mighty acts, to let people know that our Elohim has rule and dominion, so that when he comes, takes the rule and dominion, that they won't be shocked when it get took. But again, blessings out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. I appreciate y'all time. Hallelujah, indeed. You were willing, we'll pick it up on Wednesday. But we're going to have to talk about his kingdom. His kingdom is great. And that's what we're going to do. You were willing to that time. Hello,